Well, good evening. Welcome back to the second game here tonight, as it will be Lafayette against Boyle County. Gary Ball with Coach Mike Meehan and William Warfield. First game tonight was won 48-18 by Mercer County. And we're just about set for football. Thanks for being with us tonight here. Lightning delays in that first game. They didn't kick off to 8 o'clock after it was originally a 5 o'clock kickoff. Kicked off at 8 o'clock, and we're getting ready to kick off here now for Lafayette at 10:30 here, Lafayette and Boyle County. Let's take a look at the starting lineups, Coach. It's John Yeager, Jacob Paget, Tucker Kilby, Zane Young, Will Bramwell, and Cleet Hellier for Boyle County on their offense. Cameron Quinn, Evan Tarter, Kevin Hatfield, Nick Walker, Sam Tiller, the quarterbacks, and then the running back of really significance, Coach, is Trenton Gunner Ashburn, the senior. 33 carries last week, Coach, in their loss to John Hardin, 21-20.
Right, and I think he had 156 yards too. So he had 33 carries, 156 yards. He seems to be the one carrying the ball more than anybody else.
And set to kick off will be the Lafayette Generals. We'll check their defense for you here after this kick here. And set to kick it off for the Generals is Sutton Averett. Averett will kick off, and looks like back deep for the Boyle County Rebels. Let's see who they've got back there, Coach, in deep. It's like 21 back there. Hard to see his number because he's shifted over there, but looks like number 21 back there. Here's Averett into it, and the kick is going to be taken at the 15-yard line, up to the 20, 25, 30, and up to the 32-yard line. That was taken by, that was Tarter, Evan Tarter, to
pretty aggressive blocking on that too. Good coverage. Going to get decent field position here to start this game. Boyle County pretty tough on offense. Be interesting to see how Lafayette stands. Lafayette, by the way, Gary, if we remember, we saw Lafayette in the scrimmage early. They did pretty darn well against Mayo on defense.
Yes, and we'll take a look at the Lafayette defense after this first play here. Let's check and see. They tend to go with Sam Tiller. And it is Sam Tiller. They switch between Walker and Tiller. Here's a handoff, Ashburn, and he leaps up to the 33-yard line. And coming up to get him, McCoy, Tajon McCoy, Dylan McKinney, Xavier Douglas, Dre Cowan along the front for the general defense. It'll be Boja, the linebacker, Desmond Black, Brandon Lane, Coney Heiss, DeMarco Fishback, Malik Price, Jordan Thomas, Cameron Morgan in the secondary. Pickup of about 3 there, second down. And here's a pass near side, trying to go to Tarter. It's spelled out over there by Lafayette. Good job over there, Coach. Doing a super job was Quantez Cooper. Number 25 broke that up.
Four-man defensive front. Man-to-man coverage, 0 coverage all the way across, no safeties. Looks like they're really gonna force Boyle County to run the football, and hopefully those linebackers who are playing back about 4 yards can come up and make some tackles. The defensive line for Lafayette, that's the key to this game. I'm predicting that right now.
3rd down and 7 for the Rebels of Boyle County. They're going left to right. They're at the 37-yard line. And Tiller back to pass, fires out to Tarter. Tarter breaks a tackle, 40. Tarter got the first down up to the 43-yard line. Good run there by Evan Tarter. Finally finished off by Desmond Black, the Mike linebacker. He's in there for Ian Shaw, who's not in there tonight, Coach. And Black made the play, but nice job. That's what we call yak, yards after catch there by Evan Tarter. Tarter, a 5'10", 175-pound senior for Boyle County.
Yeah, I know, but Cooper Quantez, number 25 for Lafayette, come up, man, missed the tackle. We've talked about this before. We've got to tackle these people if you're on Lafayette's team.
Trips out to the top for Tiller. Quick pass over to Ashburn out of the backfield. Ashburn hit, knocked back behind the line of scrimmage. No gain there to Ashburn. So a complete pass, Coach, but they actually lose about a half a yard.
Right. They come up there pretty hard on that. They said that number 34, Damon Black, came up.
Desmond Black, yeah.
Desmond Black, nice job of coming up making a tackle that time. In this man-to-man defense, you're not going to get away with those screens very often unless you can get somebody out there to block that man from the offensive line.
You got to watch Cameron Quinn. He is split way out to the top, and Boyle County's quarterback Sam Tiller's looking out that way. He's got Aspirin behind him, second down. Slides left, gives now to Aspirin. He's hit and knocked down on a nice play coming up to get him. I saw hustling in there. Jordan Thomas, the bandit linebacker, number one tackler on the team, Coach, and you see his tackling ability there. Thomas making a nice play in the backfield there for Lafayette.
Nice job of coming up and making the tackle, shutting down the outside run. I'm going to, if we're looking at this, watch number 19, Malik Price. Looks like he's playing a spy on this offense. He's not this time, but yeah, there he is again, back in the middle. Probably watching that running back who carries the ball so much.
Low snap to Tiller, looking to pass, sets, throws, and nearly intercepted. Nearly picked off by Thomas. He knocks it away there. Also in coverage, nicely done there by Lafayette. It looked like 29 was back there as well, and that's Robinson. Yep. But it was Thomas who got a hand on it, so it looks like Boyle will have to be punting the ball away to Lafayette, and they'll be sending back Cameron Morgan to return the punt.
Gary, I'm very surprised that they're trying to throw the ball this early like that. I know you're supposed to screen early to get to test teams' defenses, but the running game should be there if you can block those down linemen. Morgan
back deep inside the 25. Gervasio set the punt. Here's the punt, a high punt, but short, and it's going to take a Lafayette roll up to about the 30-yard line, and Boyle County will touch it up near the 30, and that's where Lafayette will have it. Walker Wood is their senior quarterback. Will Bischoff is the center. Austin Miller, Dejon Thomas, the guards, Alex Simpson, Jedrick Wills, the tackles, Matthew Guilfoyle, the tight end. He'll catch a lot of passes, too. Had 7 in their first game. Quentin Brown, Zach Sherman, the wideouts. Javarius Robinson would do most of the ball carrying, and DeQuan Edwards. They're going to use a lot of receivers, Coach, as they did in the male scrimmage.
Yeah, they can spread it around a little bit, and I love to watch Walker Wood. We really, really liked him before last year, and the way he uses his skills. Right now, Gary, he has an 89 quarterback rating. That's pretty darn high.
Trips to the bottom, and the officials are going to blow it dead. They've got a equipment issue with Javarius Robinson, the running back. 9:29. Boy, Boyle didn't use much of the clock, did they? 2.5 minutes.
No, incomplete passes. That'll do it.
So first down for the Generals and Walker Wood. Gives to Javarius Robinson up to the 30. He's to the 35 and tackled up there at the 35-yard line by Boyle County. And coming up there to make the play for the defense was Nick Walker. Let's check the defense for the Rebs. Hunter Floyd, Aaron Hatter, Mitchell Paycheck, Wade Acey, penalty marker down to your defensive lineman for the Rebels. Gunnar Aspirin, outside backer. Caden Gervasio, the punter, also the middle linebacker. And then you got Kagan Jackson inside, and Zach Hodge, linebacker. Here's a Walker back to pass. We'll complete that. Walker steps up, avoids pressure, fires it, and incomplete.
Yeah, he threw it out of bounds overhead intentionally. He had a receiver standing right there. I don't know whether he couldn't see them against the sideline. And I will tell you from experience from talking to quarterbacks that I've coached, sometimes when you have somebody sits down in their route right in front of the bench where everybody else has white jerseys, it's hard to spot him.
It is, no doubt. Got Guilfoyle, Edwards, triple receivers to the bottom, single receiver to the top for Walker Wood. He is out of in the backfield by himself. Fires right side and incomplete to Quentin Brown. Brown, one of the best receivers in the state as a junior, but that's one he should have caught, Coach.
He should have caught it. Maybe thrown a little bit high, maybe a little hot. It's early in the game, and sometimes quarterbacks get a little anxious and pull the trigger a little bit too hard maybe. The ball comes out a little bit too strong.
So back to receive the punt will be Reese Smith. Smith back to receive this punt coming from Walker Wood. So both teams get the ball, but they don't do much with it the first possession, Coach.
No, this punting game is going to be very important.
Walker Wood is going to step one side to the left and punt it, and Smith watches it go out of bounds and takes a great Lafayette roll. The official right there, he's going to walk up to about the 28-yard line. So that's where Boyle will have it on their second possession. And, Coach, what can we look for different for Boyle County on this second offensive series?
Chuck Smith played around that series. He looked at some things. He's trying to figure out exactly if they're man-to-man. I told you, and we noticed by looking, that they're running zero coverage. For a while, they didn't have any safety at all. I'm telling you, the way those linebackers are backed up, I think they have a spy on the running back. They're going to have to run the football, and they're going to have to run it in the A gap. Yes, probably right in the A gap or a little zone on the outside.
Hand off to Ashburn. Ashburn, who hit up to the 32. That's pretty much the same play they ran in their first offensive series. They gave it to Ashburn off the left side. He got almost the same amount of yards. He carried it 33 times last week in their opening game for 156 yards and 2 touchdowns, Coach.
Yes, and he was the major person carrying the football, and I think they're going to try to do that again this time. The offensive line, they're pretty tight splits. A lot of times you're better off if you get a little more splits against this type of defense. Let's see.
2nd down and 7 for the Rebels, and Tiller airing it out down the right side, and it is going to be incomplete down to the 35, going for Reese Smith. And, Coach, that young man just flying down through there, he's only a freshman here at Boyle County.
Right. I noticed that. I was looking at the stats earlier this morning from the KHSA website, and he looks like he's going to be a real star over here.
But he dropped that one, and I tell you, that was a pretty good pass there by Sam Tiller, the junior quarterback.
Right. Smith already has 4 catches for over 61 yards in just that game.
Yeah,
last week.
He's our leading receiver, actually.
Right.
Tiller was 8 of 17 passing in their first game, 103 yards and a touchdown. He's faced with 3rd down and 7 here at the 32 of Boyle. Motion by Tarter to the far side, and Tiller lets him set. Tiller low snap, picks it up, looks down the middle, dances, and it's Tarter, and he had it for a moment and dropped it. Evan Tarter would have had the 1st down up at the 40, but as he spun around, a couple Lafayette players hit him, Coach, and he dropped the football.
Yeah, that was a nice throw, Gary. That was a really nice throw. He pulled the trigger quick on that one and hit him right in the numbers. I think it just hit his hands and bounced off. Lafayette, 3rd down and long, 3rd and 7 or more, in a cover 2 look, little roll with maybe a monster on one side. I believe they really have scouted Boyle and know exactly what they're going to try to run so far this game.
So Boyle, 2 offensive possessions and really nothing. Here's the Gervasio punt. Cameron Morgan this time goes down to the far side, and he tries to track it down, but it goes out of bounds at about the 32-yard line on the far side. Lafayette's got a pretty good crowd over there tonight. They're visiting stands pretty full over there for a game that didn't kick off till 10:30.
Right. We watched. Actually, we had the best seats in the house for the first half of the first game.
Yes, we did.
About it. We
did.
So,
courtesy of Sutherland Chevrolet over there in Nicholasville.
Well, we were watching on PrepSpin.
Yes,
we were in the car, leaned back,
on
watching
my phone,
on PrepSpin.
on our smartphone.
Come on, give me a break. PrepSpin's awesome, buddy. I tell you that.
I know it.
Don't watch and drive, folks.
We weren't watching.
We were sitting in the parking lot.
We were in the parking lot.
We would never drive and do that.
That's right. Never
don't
text and drive.
No, sir.
Okay, here's Walker Wood with the 2nd possession for. He fakes it now. Wood's going to keep it. He's got some running room. The 40. Wood's at the midfield stripe. He's down to the 40-yard line being chased and loses his balance but gets back up and then finally knocked down at the 25-yard line. What a run there by Walker Wood. Let's get the yardage, 35, 43 yards on that run there by Walker Wood, Coach. And he had 58 yards rushing last week in their win over Dunbar.
Well, good. Thank goodness for Drew Baker for Boyle. He ran him down and kind of slowed him down so some people could catch up and make the tackle. That's a good effort. Good effort by Wood. I like to see him running the football. I think it's really important that he gets involved in the game that way.
Oh, he's dangerous with those legs. You know, we called him over the years. We've called him the Johnny Manziel of high school football, and you saw it on that run, didn't you?
Yeah, Johnny Manziel between the white lines.
Here's a down. That's going to be Javarius Robinson. Yeah, down to the 23. Don't get me laughing, Coach. I got a cough, and you'll get me coughing if you get me laughing.
Well, I don't think Mr. Wood or Mrs. Wood or any of the Woods would be happy with him compared to Johnny Manziel outside the lines.
Oh, that's true, but he's quick. So pickup of about 4 there for Robinson. Down to 7 minutes to go in the first period. No score. This is the 2nd offensive series for the Lafayette Generals. And, Coach, in some polls are number 2 in the state behind Trinity.
They
Lafayette.
are, and offensively is a good reason for that. Let's see.
Walker Wood looking left, trying to go to Edwards. Edwards there, tipped away, and on the 2nd tip, Edwards can't come up with it. And Boyle County back there in coverage doing a nice job was Wilburn. Wilburn was battling. Here's a flag down. I think they're going to call pass interference on that. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, I think they might call holding early on like about the 5-yard line. It looked like he may have gotten a bump on him, a little grab on him before he broke for that route. Again, that's pretty darn good coverage. You're right. He was right on top of him all the way. Again, I mentioned this last night, and I think early in the season, these are good quarterbacks, but they're pulling the trigger too late. When you see that receiver is one-on-one, you always teach your quarterbacks. When your receiver is one-on-one against the defensive backs, bet on the receiver every time.
And, you know, Walker Wood started as a freshman, and what he has is he has that with his receivers, like Daquan Edwards on that, he's like, Daquan, you go down and make a play. And he throws it up, and Edwards went down, try to make a play for him. Here goes Guilfoyle in motion. You got to watch him too. Fakes to Morgan. Looks to pass to Guilfoyle.
Oh,
Look,
no
he's got an
way.
open receiver in the back of the end zone. Incomplete. Back there trying to run it down was Noah Phillips, number 4, in the back of the end zone. But Phillips got one hand on it but couldn't pull it in the back of the end zone.
Right, now watch this. I love to watch little nuances of the game. The official just went over and talked to one of the receivers for Lafayette. He was blocking downfield, and the official saw that. That's a penalty. That's against the rules to be blocking downfield during the pass. And right after, I was going, is he going to call it or not? He didn't call it, but he walked over to the receiver and said, hey, buddy, I'm going to get you the next time. Don't do that.
Receivers to the bottom. Fake to Morgan. Walker Woods got some room. He's tripped up at the 6-yard line. And that'll bring up 3rd down and about 5. You know, Lafayette can actually pick up a first down if they get it down inside the 2-yard line, Coach Meehan.
Yeah, well, they might need that because it's tough going down here against Boyle County.
We're approaching the 6-minute mark of the scoreless first quarter. Darren Douglas and Bill Ransdale brought you that first game, Mercer County. Boy, that surprises me, not the score, but 48-18. Mercer County put a beat down on Bell County.
It did. Now, you mentioned again, and you can tell the people watching, Bell County started a little underhanded today, right? They lost a couple players.
2,000-yard rush.
Yeah, that'll hurt you.
5:55. Wood looking out to the bottom. He's got Brown over there. Walker Wood sets in the middle, throws. He's got a incomplete, and that's intercepted. That's picked off.
Did you get the number?
Yeah, it was number 5 who picked it off. Nick Walker got it.
Nice job, really. He forced himself in there on the coverage. They're covering pretty tight. It was a good idea by Lafayette to run that little waggle look just to get outside, make a little misdirection on the pass. But, buddy, I'll tell you what, that coverage is tight. They're going to have to start looking for your favorite player, Gary, the tight end.
He's always open. The tight end's always open, okay?
Yep, he's like 7-11, buddy.
That's right. So let's see that interception. I'll tell you what, Lafayette looked like they were going to punch one in here with halfway through the first, but big interception there by Boyle County. Tiller fakes to Aspern, fires left side, caught up to the 28, and then bulling his way. That's going to be a nice job there by Kevin Hatfield. That's Hatfield, the 195-pound junior, with a nice 6-7-yard reception.
Real nice tackle by Malik Price there, coming up and locking him up, bringing him down immediately without gaining another yard. Again, we have to look at that defensive line there. If they can shut down the run, Lafayette's pass defense should hold up pretty well.
Twins both sides, and
like
inside handoff to Aspern. That went nowhere. Spelling that out was big Xavier Douglas. When I say big, the nose tackle for Lafayette, 5'11", 310 pounds.
That's a big boy, I tell you what. They actually have a lot of big, strong linemen down in the pits there. Again, they're in that 4 front look, again, playing man-to-man on short distances. If this is 3rd down, they should drop back and cover 2. Notice the 2 safeties. They're walking up. They're walking up, playing zone with a cover 3 look.
Quarterback Tiller fires over to Walker, catch up to the 30, but he looks like, depends on that mark, he's close to the first down marker. I tell you what, if you're number 5 there, the receiver, you have got to know where that first down marker is, don't you, Coach, every time?
Yes, you do.
4:32 in the first period. Boyle gets the first down.
Christopher Kreider, we're seeing here, is watching in Florida and wants a shout-out to Brandon and Connor Lane. So hello there, Brandon and Connor Lane. Wish you were here with us.
We'll give a shout-out to the sergeant watching over in Iraq tonight here shortly. Here is quarterback Tiller. And it's going to be caught, and it's going to be caught by Caden Gervasio, the junior 180-pounder.
Boyle's throwing the ball a little bit more than I thought they would tonight, Gary.
Yeah, because in their first game, Tiller was 8 of 17 in the entire game. We'll try to get some stats here from WL Stats. I'd say he's going to have 10, 12 passes here in the first quarter.
Absolutely.
No score, 4 minutes to go in the first quarter of action here on PrepSpin. Gary Ball, Coach Mike Meehan, William Warfield. 2nd down and 4 up at the 35. Tiller fakes to Aspern, looks down the middle. He's got a receiver, Tarter, and on the tip, Tarter can't come up with it. It was tipped by the defender there of Lafayette Jordan Thomas, the bandit safety, got a hand on it, and Tarter almost came up with it as he was falling down to the ground.
A nice job by him, and also a nice job by Quentin Brown to be back there trying to force a little bit of a bad throw. Super job by Lafayette now with their coverage. I like the defense they're running here. They're taking away the pass with this man-to-man little zone look on the backside, and the big guys in the front are taking care of the run.
3rd down and 5 for Tiller. Tiller looking down the middle, fires left side, and it's caught by Tarter. He's got the first down up to the 45-yard line, 46-yard line. That is going to be Evan Tarter, the senior, out of the backfield.
Yeah, that was a little dangerous. I don't have it on my sheet. You might look on yours. Number 29 for Lafayette slipped and fell. And when he fell, the receiver ran by him, but the quarterback didn't see him.
Yeah, 29, that's going to be Robinson, T.J. Robinson.
T.J. Robinson, all right.
First down on that catch by Tarter up to the 46. 3.5 to go, first quarter, and Boyle County trying to strike first. Hand off to Ashburn. Ashburn, oh, what a hit at the 47. That's what you call a collision right there. That was a collision, and I believe that was Jordan Thomas who came up there and delivered.
Jordan Thomas came up there just without any fear whatsoever and just roared up there.
That's like 2 Mack trucks hitting each other.
Yeah, and he's feeling it too. Take a look at him. He's trying to shake off a little bit his shoulder, his hand, probably his hand.
Yeah. Well, you know, Ashburn is 5'11", 190, the running back that hit him. He's a solid kid too for Boyle. 2:52 here in the first period. 2nd down and 8 for the Rebels at their own 47. Fake to the middle. Tiller roll. He's in trouble, and he's going to be sacked back at the 40-yard line. And coming in there to sack him on a tremendous play was McCoy, the defensive end, Tijron McCoy.
Now, Tijron McCoy came in quick. Boy, he just sniffed that out and ran it down. That's what they're going to need to do is get to that quarterback. Don't give him time to let those receivers get themselves open.
Well, I tell you what, that was a big defensive play there for Lafayette because like Boyle County was gaining a little momentum there offensively, Coach.
Yeah, we're almost down to 2 minutes in the first quarter and no score.
This time Tiller was sending twin receivers both sides. A little movement down at the bottom, and I think the officials saw it.
They caught it.
And they caught it. That's going to be encroachment against Boyle, so they'll have 3rd instead of 3rd and 15 to be 3rd and 20. What's in your playbook on 3rd and 20, Coach Meehan? Bring out the old offensive coordinator, will you?
Chuck Smith, I tell you what now, Chuck Smith's got some tricks up his sleeve. I've seen him run the old hook and ladder in 3rd and long situations, especially when the Lafayette is coming up so hard to make tackles. But, again, he tried the screen early. A screen might be good in this situation. But, again, the screen didn't work early in the game.
So 3rd down and 2:10 to go, first period, no score. Here between Lexington Lafayette and Boyle County here in Danville at the Rebel Bowl at Boyle County. Tiller rolling left. Tiller steps up. He's got some pressure. Tiller breaks his shoulder tackle. He's up to the 45 and then slammed down at the 48-yard line. Here's a late flag. Might be a late hit against Lafayette, and that could give Boyle County some momentum because that could be a late hit and give them that first down, Coach.
It had to be a late hit. It was right below us. I didn't quite see it. It looked like they hit him inbounds and carried him out of bounds. But those officials are careful with that. They don't want any of that stuff going on.
So that will give the Rebels of Boyle the first down on that 15-yard penalty. That will take it down to the 38-yard line of Lafayette. This is the deepest penetration by Boyle here so far, Coach.
They called a blow to the head is what they called. The official on that side, on the side judge here, called a blow to the head of one of the Boyle County runner, quarterback.
Hatfield splits out to the top with Quinn. Tarter's to the bottom over there with Walker. Tiller, quick pass over to Tarter, and he slips at the 40, and the referee's going to say, the official's going to say you're down right there at the 40. Coming up, big number 99, that's Tyrone Williams. Williams is 5'11", 250.
Throwing a quick screen to the short side of the field inside from the short hash over here. That's a tough play to get any yardage on because you're playing against a team that is extremely fast on defense.
2nd down and 12 at the 40-yard line of Lafayette, Boyle County. 1:28 here in the scoreless first quarter. Triple receivers to the top. Sam Tiller with Aspirin to his left. Looks, quick pass over to Tarter. Tarter breaks a tackle. Tarter and down to the 40. Good job by Tarter. He would have been knocked down about 3 yards back.
Yeah, Quantez Cooper had the beat on him and just had a blocker on him about the same time.
Brandon Lane, the big 6'2". Brandon Lane, 6'2", 215-pound senior. I tell you what, he passes a look test, Coach.
Yeah, he really does. But again, those little screens and those little flares against a fast team, that's pretty tough. I'm real curious as to why Boyle is not testing the interior of that line, because they've got some big boys up front too.
Coach Shaw over there trying to get a clarification. So they moved it back. It went against Boyle.
Yes, they did.
Holding against 15, they said. Is that what they said, William?
Number 15.
Of course, we don't have the officials mic'd. Minute 7. In the first, no score. Tiller now 2nd down and 24. Tiller, low snap again, looks left, fires it deep down the left side, and it's going to be incomplete down near the 15-yard line.
Very good coverage. I see a receiver on this side that's all by himself out there, but that would have been an almost impossible throw for the quarterback to throw that far across the field.
I tell you what, he continues to look for the freshman, though. Reese Smith, that was the intended receiver that time.
Yeah, he does. He feels like feels like Reese is the most speed on the team.
No score if you're just tuning in. We kicked off at 10:30 because Mercer County and Bell didn't start till about 8 o'clock. It was supposed to kick at 6. Lightning and some weather, heat indexes postponed that one for a couple hours, and then they got it in, and Mercer won it going away, and we kicked this one off about 10:30. We're late into the first period, and it's 3rd and long. Tiller, the quarterback, being pressured, rolls to the right. Tiller sets and throws, and it's going to be incomplete at the 41-yard line, and that brings up 4th down, and I think Boyle will have to punt it away to Lafayette again, Coach.
It will, and again, Lafayette's playing really good defense like we've suspected this year that they would do. They're good coverage in the secondary, and their defensive line, especially their edge players, are really getting after the quarterback.
And, you have to look at their head coach. Eric Shaw was a linebacker for the Cincinnati Bengals, so he knows how to teach tackling and good defense, and Lafayette playing really good defense right now.
They really are, and it's going to be that way until Boyle finds a little weakness in there.
Gervasio will punt back at the 35. Low snap, picks it up. What's up with all these low snaps? Here's the punt to Morgan. He watches it bounce, and Morgan's going to scoop it and hemmed in. Morgan back at the 6-yard line. Lafayette will have to go 94 yards. That was not a great job on punt return there by Cameron Morgan.
Yeah, I think the coaches are questioning that decision, by the way, the decision to try to handle that punt. Although it could have rolled down even closer, so pretty secure. Boy, I tell you what, this is a situation where I really am interested in Walker Wood here. Really interested to see how he handles this kind of pressure backed up like this.
He's got twin receivers both sides of the field with Javarius Robinson, ballhead they call him, flanked to his right. Sends a motion, and here's a flag before he gives the old sweep. He's going to give it on the sweep there to Zach Sherman, number 11. And
looks like they were running jet sweep, but instead procedure, so that's half the distance. That's even putting more pressure on him. But you know who has a lot of pressure right here? The punter, because he knows that if they stay there, his heels are going to be in the back of that end zone, buddy, and one little misstep, and it's a safety.
Walker Wood will operate out of his own end zone now.
The punter's over there going, oh, please, Walker. Please.
There's movement again, and I'm not sure what happened on that. Neither do the offensive linemen for Lafayette.
You know, if they keep doing that every play, we'll be here all night because they'll never get to the end zone. It'll be half the distance, half the distance.
Well, it was 96 yards, and then now it's going to be about 8 yards. I'm talking about to get to the end zone of Boyle. This time they're just going to go ahead and send triple receivers out to the top. And Wood goes out of that shotgun again. Wood looking left, fires it over there. Brown's got to catch a 10, and he's up to the 18-yard line. Nice job. He's got the first down.
Oh, boy.
Nice job there by Quentin Brown. You know, we talked about what a great receiver he was last year as a junior, and really dropped a few balls in the male scrimmage and didn't have a great opening game against Dunbar, but that was a nice catch there by QB, he likes to be called.
It was a nice catch, and it was a good throw, good timing throw, because when he turned, that ball was right there.
Picked up about 15, 16 yards. Here's the old jet sweep to Sherman. Sherman up the middle, and Zach up to the 25, leaping up to the 25. Good job as he just laid on top of a Boyle player. And let's see who for Boyle County. Coming up making that play was Nick Walker. You know, look at their numbers. I'm looking at the stats for the Rebels defense. Listen to this. Michael Paycheck, who we haven't called a whole lot tonight so far, 15 tackles in their opening game. That's holding, I believe, against Lafayette. Listen to these tackling numbers, Coach. This is unreal. I'm talking about for Boyle. Paycheck, 15 tackles, average. Gervasio, 13 tackles. Jackson, 13 tackles. And 8 tackles for Hunter Floyd. I mean, that's a lot of tackles out there for these guys.
Here's a question for you. What position do those 4 gentlemen play?
Well, linebackers.
Well, bingo. There you go. That's Chuck Smith.
Except for Floyd, and Paycheck's a defensive tackle.
Yeah, see, Chuck Smith is a linebacker coach. He was a linebacker coach at UK and
that's
did a heck of a job.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
He knows how to coach them boys.
We're down to 10 seconds to see if Walker Wood gets his playoff here at the end of the Wood's going to streak it to the right side himself, keep it. Wood trying to tripped up at the 12-yard line. So that's going to do it for the first quarter. We head to the second quarter. We're at a stalemate. No score. Boyle County and Lafayette here from the Rebel Bowl in Danville, Kentucky. Mercer County won the first one tonight, 48-18 over Bell County. We'll come back with Lafayette. And, boy, this is the White Greer Maggard High School Football Game of the Week.
White Greer and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
By the numbers, Whitaker Bank loves the Kentucky communities we serve.
There are 50 Whitaker Bank locations serving Kentucky communities just like mine.
61 Whitaker Bank ATMs throughout Kentucky make getting quick access to cash easy.
Whitaker Bank staff serves the needs of nearly 70,000 Kentucky customers every day.
We share your passion, Kentucky. Love the bank that loves you back. Whitaker Bank is uniquely Kentucky.
Second quarter action, and Coach, it was a couple prize fighters, really, just kind of throwing punches, but nothing happening offensively for those two teams in the first half. Boyle and Lafayette to a stalemate as we head here to the second quarter.
Yeah, very even, by the way. And we can't say that one team made more mistakes than the other team. Just very even. Good hitting game, though. Good tackling tonight.
Here's Walker. Walker Wood rolling, setting, throwing, and a diving catch by Guilfoyle up to the 25. What a great catch by Matthew Guilfoyle. And he gives them now a very manageable 3rd and about 3. What a great diving catch, Coach, by Matthew Guilfoyle. He goes 6'1", 195, had 7 catches, 90 yards. And I just got a text from our good friend Jason Alexander. Said last week Boyle played in a driving rain and mud, so it was hard to pass the ball.
Oh, I can imagine. Wow.
Of course, Chris Pardue's. Here's a late flag, Coach.
Yeah, I don't know. The referee made that call. Illegal substitution. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, there's 11. Again, that must have been that rule where the receiver comes on the field and doesn't go inside the numbers first. We had that last night, too.
So it's 3rd down and about 7 now for the Generals at their own 20 as we start the second quarter. 11-17 to play first half. No score between Lexington Lafayette, one of the top teams in 6A, and Boyle County, one of the top teams in 3A football. Walker Wood sliding left, throws it, and it's going to be a great catch up at the 35-yard line. First down, and that's a terrific diving catch. We're trying to That's Quentin Brown. Will Brown making some nice catches tonight. That's his second really good catch.
And that's a good throw, too. Again, last night I complained a little bit about Fagot in his sprint outs, about getting his shoulders around and getting that front shoulder aimed. Walker Wood is extremely good at that. Very good.
He is.
That ball was thrown so that he had the slide to get it just inside the out-of-bounds line.
Cameron Morgan is the running back. Motion. They give to Morgan back around the left side. Cameron Morgan to 40. Slams his way up to the 43. Good running there by Cameron Morgan. And coming up there, getting there for Boyle was Zach Hodge.
That was a nice play. That was a nice little counter play, a little trap action. And that was pretty good. Misdirection. They bring that man in motion across right in front of the quarterback and then hide that running back a little bit as he crosses
Hunter
over.
Floyd helped out on that play for Boyle as well, they say. Second down and 2.
We're going to hear Floyd's name a lot.
Second down and 2 for Walker Wood. High snap. Wood picks it up. Deep drop. Gets pressure. Throws left downfield. He's got a receiver. It's caught by Brown to the 35. Quentin Brown to the 30, down to the 28-yard line. So a nice pickup as they take it down to the 28.
Gary, back here
There's a late flag as one of the big linemen and one of the big linemen for Boyle County mix it up.
Yeah, and I think he just ejected him. I think he just ejected 87.
That would be Aaron Hatter, the 240-pound sophomore.
I think so. The referee, did he put his hand up like an ejection? We'll have to follow that. Yeah, there was a little action going on back here between Walker Wood and 87. Chuck Smith's having a little discussion with him now.
And the thing about Hatter, he's a big sophomore, and that was Alex Simpson, who's really big, 6'5", 310. They were mixing it up, and was that a case of Simpson just protecting his quarterback maybe?
I don't know. I really don't know. I think that they lost their temper a little bit. I suppose I shouldn't have spoken about him being ejected. I thought the referee made the hand signal, but he's still on the sideline. So.
Yeah. I think they just gave him a unsportsmanlike, and that's huge. Look at that. They're still marking that off. Quentin Brown took it down about the 28.
Yeah, it was two. He called 2 penalties. There were 2 flags. The referee threw the one flag he always has, and then the second flag that he keeps in his pocket.
Coming up at halftime, Coach, we've got your UFOs, and also I believe you have a special guest you're going to interview at halftime, Josh Moore from the Herald Leader.
Right, a really interesting young man who's done a super job taking place of our friend Mike Fields, who's been here for years for the Herald Leader.
Walker Wood this time will send Edwards and Guilfoyle to the bottom, and they mark it at the 7-yard line. First and goal at the 7 for Walker Wood. Wood gives back inside, running to the 5. That's Javarius Robinson, and he's marked down right there at the 5. And making the play for Boyle was Kagan Jackson.
I'm going to apologize to family, friends, or whatever, number 87 for Boyle County, because I don't think he was ejected, but he did get 2 personal fouls. So that means he cannot play the rest of this game, is what that means.
Okay.
So, but again, my apologies. I shouldn't have jumped to conclusions.
At the 5 now, second down and goal.
Oh, they moved again.
They moved again. How many times has Lafayette done that tonight? It's about the 3rd or 4th time, right?
Every time they go in motion, somebody jumps, it seems like. They're
just not, we had one player tell Josh Moore that this time last night he was asleep in bed.
Yeah, by this time last night.
So maybe we need to send some pillows over there to the Lafayette sideline, because there's a lot of guys sleeping right now.
Somebody needs to wake up. You can't have these when you get down closer to the goal line in a 0-0 game. You can't afford those mistakes.
I mean, you're 17, 18-year-olds. Why are you going to be in bed on a Saturday night at 10 o'clock for? Walker Wood keeps it. Walker Wood to 5, and he's going to take it in for the touchdown. Walker Wood, what a nice run. He cut it back inside. That's vintage Walker Wood right there, Coach Meehan.
Yeah, I love the way he plants that outside foot, gets his shoulder square to the goal line, and bursts across the goal line.
He's thrown for 3 TDs this year, and that's his first touchdown rushing. But remember, last year he had a huge season on the ground last year rushing the football.
He did, and he'll continue that the rest of this year, too.
Mason Allstat was a big ground gainer last year, too, playing college football now. But Walker Wood put up some huge numbers on the ground. 6-0 now, Lafayette on the TD by Walker Wood, the quarterback, who's headed to Kentucky next fall. I see good things out of Walker Wood at Kentucky. Here's the extra point, and it is up, and they say, still waiting for the no good. So they say no good. So extra point, no good. We head with 8:56 to go. We head to further into the second quarter, 8:56, 6-0 Lafayette on top of Boyle County here on the White Greer Maggard Game of the Week.
By the numbers, Whitaker Bank loves the Kentucky communities we serve.
Over 30,000 Kentuckians are saving time and money by doing their banking online with Whitaker Electronic Banking.
341,000 transactions were made on the go last year using the Whitaker Bank mobile app.
Over 340,000 text alerts were sent last year with Whitaker Bank text banking.
We share your passion, Kentucky. Love the bank that loves you back. Whitaker Bank is uniquely Kentucky.
I'm not happy with my teeth. They're not straight enough.
Let me fix them for you.
No. You are not White, Greer, and Maggard.
I'm sort of like White, Greer, and Maggard. I'm local, love smiles, love to fix things.
No.
Sorta you isn't you. White.
Back at the Rebel Bowl at Boyle County High School, Gary Ball with Coach Mike Meehan, William Warfield, Darren Douglas still in the house.
Always good to have Darren here. Darren, I thought you'd have a curfew by now.
No, it's next after I hit 51.
Gervasio 25 picks it up, and he's hemmed in, and then it's going to be knocked down at the 27-yard line. So that's where Boyle will go to work. They're trailing now for the first time. 8:50 to go in the first half. It is Lexington Lafayette 6. Boyle nothing on a Walker Wood 6-yard TD run. That's his first rushing TD of the season. He's thrown 3 TD passes against Dunbar. Lafayette does come in 1-0, and Rebels of Boyle came in 0-1. They lost by 1 point to John Hardin last week, Coach.
John Hardin's a good football team. A new school, a reasonably new school, really good football team.
Sam Tiller, he's out of the shotgun again. Gives now to Ashburn. Ashburn's got some running room. The 30, 31-32. Nice 5-yard pickup there for Ashburn.
Yeah, I think that this is one of those things that they're going to start doing a little bit more. I expect to see some inside zone, outside zone plays, maybe zone reads with the quarterback, possibly even some counter traps, because that's a big defensive line out there.
It is.
It's a big defensive line. And if you can spread them a little bit with your guards, get a little extra room inside, maybe run a trap or two.
Look at, is that 48 in the middle there, Coach? Right there for Lafayette?
48.
48. We got to get a beat on him. Here's Tiller. Airing it out right side. His receiver's out there. A great grab down to the 37-yard line. And that's the outstanding Nick Walker, the other quarterback. Walker's showing good hands. And Walker making a great catch down to the 39 of Lafayette, 8:06. And Boyle County trying to answer the TD by Lafayette's Walker Wood.
That was a nice route. He did a little hesitation in there. Yeah, see that the defensive back on that side, number 29, had a little hesitation and got beat.
Ashburn's got it, but he can't get outside. His knee's going to be touching. The great play turned in there by Lafayette, and that play was Xavier Douglas. Well, they've got a different.
Yeah, they've got 54
as Desmond something.
Yeah.
But that's not on our roster.
Well, we can't be perfect all the time.
No, that's a different roster.
Yep.
Second down and 13.
Lafayette in the cover 2. See, it's second and long. They're back in that zone look. Linebackers backed up about 7 yards.
Tiller with twin receivers both sides. Tiller back to pass. Airs it out on the right side and incomplete. He was intending it down there on the far side for Gervasio.
That pattern, that little go pattern down the sideline, I coached that pattern quite a bit, especially when I was over at LCA. And the quarterback has to zip that ball in between that corner and that safety. There's a window of about 10 yards in high school, maybe 12 yards in high school, that you can put that ball. You throw it too long, it could be intercepted. You underthrow it, it's definitely going to be intercepted.
So third and about 13 for the Rebels, 7:22 to go in the first half, and Lexington Lafayette on top 6-0. Tiller looks over to his triple receivers, blitz being shown, fires over there to Quinn. Quinn to 40, Quinn to 30, and tripped up about a yard or so shy of the first down. There's a penalty marker down, though, at the point of impact, really the point of the catch.
Yeah, that was Cameron Morgan made a saving tackle there. He could have gone all the way.
It's going to come back anyway, Coach, on that penalty. 7:15 to go in the first half, and the Generals 6 and the Rebels of Boyle County nothing.
This is a big penalty because they seem to be moving the ball a little bit better up until this point. Again, I'm surprised they're throwing the ball deep like this. I'm really surprised that they're trying to go deep as often as they are. against this defense. When you have these linebackers that are back 7 yards and they're playing a zone and they're fast anyway, there's a lot of holes underneath if you can find them. Look at that big defensive line, Gary.
I know it. Those are some hosses up there. Twins both sides for the quarterback, Sam Tiller. Tiller back to pass, rolls left, getting pressure. Tiller being chased and run out of bounds at midfield into the Boyle defense, and been helped up there by the Generals McCoy.
That was Desmond Simpson that, quote, ran him out of bounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a daggone truck hitting him right on the sideline. Just ran through him is what he did.
I think Xavier Douglas is, from the game we did with Mail, Xavier Douglas, I think, is wearing 48 tonight. I think that's Big Xavier wearing 48 tonight instead of 54, Coach.
I tell you what, I might as well just quit trying to identify these people because my roster doesn't match anything.
I know they got some. We'll try to check with WL Stats on their roster too at halftime when we get some stats. Here's the punt from Gervasio, and it bounces. Takes a great Boyle roll back inside. They're chasing the ball, but does it get into the end zone?
Yes, it did.
Yeah,
touchback.
Touchback, bringing it back. Back there trying to receive it was Newcomb, but it sailed way away from him. 6:46 to go here in this first half of action.
It's been a really quick first half so far because we've had a few penalties and a lot of incomplete passes, but the running game has been pretty good too. So Walker Wood is a threat running the football. Remember, I talked last night. We talked to I listened to radio, an interview with Coach Stoops at the UK, and he was talking about how when you're playing against a running quarterback, you're playing against 12 men. You can't account for a good running quarterback.
That's true. Unless somebody's shadowing him, right? Walker Wood, pump fakes. Fires it down the middle. Edwards down there, and he overshoots him down at the 40-yard line. And Walker Wood shakes his head. He knows if he lays that out there, Daquan Edwards, number 6, is taking that to the house.
Yes, he knows that he has guys that can outrun the defense. So when you know, well, again here, I'm going to say the same thing again. When you know you got a receiver that can outrun the defense, throw it earlier. Put a little air under it. Let him run under it.
So brings up second down. Sergeant Anthony Steinman in Iraq is watching tonight. Shout out to Sergeant Anthony Steinman. Walker Wood's going to tuck it. Walker Wood hit and spun around at the 23-yard line. And Hunter Floyd, big number 77, spun him around. We're down to 6 minutes and 26 seconds of first half action remaining. And Lafayette, if you're just tuning in, they lead on a 6-yard touchdown run by Walker Wood, 6-0. The extra point was missed by Avery.
This is a big down for Lafayette with 6 minutes to go. They don't want to take any chance of giving Boyle County good field position.
Earlier tonight, Mercer County beat Bell County 48-18. Walker Wood looking left. It's got a receiver out there and incomplete up at the 40-yard line. And, Coach, do you think he's still showing any effects of that shoulder surgery he had in the offseason?
Yeah, you know what? I'd hate to think so. We were told that he's very healthy.
Yeah, we were told he's pretty much right back where he was last year.
I don't know.
He's such a competitor, and he's such a great kid, you know?
He is, but he's a little off. He's a little off with his throws. You and I both noticed that.
Yep.
This is a big punt right here.
Smith back for Boyle. Trying to hustle out there, Ashburn.
Yeah, they have nobody on that receiver out there. Look. Lafayette could have snapped that ball quickly and thrown it out there.
Boyle County Rebels, coached by Chuck Smith. Of course, legendary Chuck. His second installment here at Boyle. He had that great run where they won 5 consecutive state titles. Is that what it was, Coach?
Yes, 5 in a row.
5 in a row.
Oh, yeah.
Gary Ball with Mike Meehan.
Yeah, Carolyn Huber, actually a friend of mine. She's watching the game on television at home, couldn't make the trip. What, too late for you, Carolyn?
You know, I got to figure out how to put that on my big screen. Maybe William Warfield can come over and show me how to do that. What do you need? What kind of gadget do you need? A Roku box? Gotcha. Well, I don't have a smart TV. My TV's pretty stupid.
Is it the TV that's stupid?
It might be the guy operating the TV. I can barely get the remote control to work. So I know it's not a smart TV. So
it's getting later.
It is getting late. It is approaching. So 48, Eric Shaw just is Douglas. So I was correct on that.
Awesome.
So that is Xavier Douglas wearing 48. Thank you, Coach. 4th down will be at Lafayette next Friday. They'll take on Trinity. 4th down, high snap to Wood. Gets it off. Woods punt at the midfield and fumbled by, let's see, this Reese Smith. I think the freshman was able to somehow get back on it. So Xavier Douglas is wearing 48 tonight. So Boyle County will have it. They trail. Thanks for watching tonight. We know you're enjoying this high-definition broadcast that William Warfield puts out 1080p on PrepSpin, the king of stream, with Coach Mike Meehan, Gary Ball. Darren Douglas is in the house. Bill Ransdell was early. We shot a flag football game earlier when Bill was here. I can take him.
No, I don't know. He can still throw the football, though.
Back to pass, Tiller. Throws it deep down the left side. He's got a receiver down there, and he catches at the 10-5. Touchdown, Boyle County.
Wow.
And that is going to be Smith.
Smith, nice job. That was a great throw. You know, they ran that go route down the sideline that time deep, and he just laid it out there. It was really close. Jada Smith was on him early, but he kind of got a step on him and then couldn't get to him, couldn't make the tackle. Nice job. Very nice job by the quarterback.
Boy, Smith, for a freshman's got some speed, Coach.
He really does, and they were looking for him the whole game, weren't they?
Yeah, he's been their primary target, and they found their primary target, and he took it to the house. So we're tied at 6, and now with the extra point will be Nick Ruby, to try to give Boyle their first lead, their only lead. Ruby's kick is up, and it is good, and Boyle County takes the lead. Rebels 7, General 6, 5:43 to go before halftime, and boy, what a great electrifying play from Tiller to Reese Smith, the freshman. TD pass, and it's 7-6 now, Boyle on top. We'll return on the White Greer Maggard High School football game of the week.
Greer and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
All S, all P, all O, R, T, S. Pick it up at all sports. Pick it up at all sports.
In Fayette Mall on Facebook and Twitter. Locally owned and operated since 1972.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and
Much drier night, much drier football than Boyle County dealt with last week in that driving rain and mud, Coach. And that was a nice ball from Tiller to Reese Smith, the freshman.
Oh, it was a wonderful ball. And again, they're looking for Smith pretty often. His speed and his ability to run routes.
Here's the kick coming from what's going to be a short kick. And Lafayette will fumble, the ball kicked. And it's kicked. They're going to give the ball to Lafayette because it was kicked out of bounds at about the 29-yard line. One of the up men there for Lafayette, 36, was trying to haul it in, Kyle Browning.
Yeah, no, Kyle did the right thing as far as trying to get the ball. Maybe could have just knocked it out of bounds. But I'll tell you what, that was an onside kick. That was an onside kick. You can look at it, call it a squib, call it whatever you want to. But that was an onside kick. They thought after a quick score like that, after a big play, maybe we can get the ball in the onside kick and put another one in. But what it did was give Lafayette pretty good field position, Gary.
So Lafayette has it up near the 30-yard line. And for Lafayette, looks like Tyler C. is to the right side of the quarterback, Walker Wood. Triple receivers out to the top. Gives now to 13C, and he's up to the 30, 40, and he's off to the races midfield. C jukes a man at the 40 and still on his feet and takes it down to the 35-yard line.
Nice job. I like that play. It looked like a little either outside zone or sweep. And super job of running the football. Notice how the running back that time, he tucked that ball away. When he got down in the secondary, he was carrying that ball high and tight in front, right in front of his chest, where it couldn't be knocked out by someone trailing. A lot of times what happens in these games, the trailing tackler will come in and punch the ball out. Good coaching on that. Good coaching by the running back coach for Lafayette.
Absolutely. He picked up some big yards down to the 35. Walker Wood has twins to both sides. Wood firing down the middle. He's got Edwards. Touchdown! Edwards wide open down there. Here comes a late flag as Edwards hauled it in on the 36-yard strike from Walker Wood to Daquan Edwards.
Another real nice pass, Gary.
That was a great pass there by Walker Wood.
Touchdown's good.
Touchdown counts. Came after the touchdown was already scored. So Lafayette regains the lead 12-7. And coach, the question is where they go for two.
Yeah, they called the penalty on celebration is what they did. Again, in high school, they watch that very carefully. You can show your joy, your passion for the game, but you can't coordinate a dance with one of the other players, and that's what I saw. And I think the officials are going to watch that pretty closely this year. But that penalty will be on the kickoff then.
Here comes the extra point from the Generals. They're up now 12-7 on them. Well, I tell you what, it didn't take them long, Coach. What, less than a minute?
Less than a minute. Got good field position like we were afraid of for Boyle County on that
extra
onside
point
kick look.
Up, and it's good for Lafayette.
Yeah, you don't chase the two-point conversion early. That's pretty much a standard rule for coaches. Don't chase your 2 points early.
So we'll be back on the Greer Maggard game of the week. 13-7, Lafayette leading Boyle.
By the numbers, Whitaker Bank loves the Kentucky communities we serve.
Whitaker Bank supports 496 Kentucky schools.
Over 282,000 students benefit from Whitaker Bank's Kentucky education initiatives.
Whitaker Bank has contributed almost $441,000 to education programs for the advancement of Kentucky's youth.
We share your passion, Kentucky.
Love the bank that loves you back.
Whitaker Bank is uniquely Kentucky.
Back here with 5:04 to go. Brandon Bennett set it up with that nice run for Lafayette, and then, of course, a great pass. Here's the kick, and that'll be Gervasio at the 30, 35, middle of the field, up to the midfield stripe, into Lafayette territory. Here comes a late flag.
That might have very well been a face mask penalty. There were a lot of hands up high on his head. I don't know. We'll see. Hey, Gary, by the way, on that last pass play that was so beautiful.
Yes, sir.
The offensive line for Lafayette. There's a show on TV called Lockup.
Yes, sir.
And that's what it looked like to me. They absolutely locked that defensive line up. They got nowhere near Walker Wood. We have a blow to the head here. Another penalty, 15 yards against Lafayette for a blow to the head.
13-7, Lafayette on top on a great pass from Walker Wood to Daquan Edwards. And then the extra point made it 13-7. Boyle had taken a 7-6 lead, and now 4:57 before halftime, and Boyle trying to regain that lead, Coach.
In good field position.
At the 34 of Lafayette with that penalty. And looked like they might have jumped off sides, and they do. That's going to be 5 more yards, so it'll be 1st and 5. Boy, that's an outstanding job by the quarterback there, Sammy Tiller.
It is an outstanding job. You just vary that count a little bit. Lafayette coaching staffs, I'm positive in practice they work on that, so they'll have a little discussion with these guys. That's a tough thing to cure because kids are really excited about getting in there, especially people that have been successful getting to the quarterback.
See what Tiller does here for the Rebels. 4-man front by Lafayette. Low snap, and is going to jump on it there. Ashburn, the running back, was able to just jump on the ball, but he's going to lose about 4 or 5 yards. So back to the 33.5-yard line. 4 minutes and 45 seconds to go, first half. If you're just tuning in, Lexington Lafayette on a Walker Wood touchdown run of 6 yards, and then a Walker Wood touchdown pass to Daquan Edwards. They lead Boyle 13-7. Boyle has a long touchdown pass from Tiller to Reese Smith, the freshman.
Reese Smith is not a freshman, they said.
That's what the roster says. I need to update it. Here's
nice.
a pass to Quinn.
I'll tell you what, if I saw that correctly, number 24 for Lafayette, that was a beautiful play by 24 from Lafayette. It looked like Cameron Morgan reached in while he was basically falling down and knocked the ball out of the receiver's hands. Nice job. That was a really, really very alert effort. Again, Lafayette, they're playing really good defense against this team. That one play where the defensive back on that side, the corner got beat. He fell for a little hitch and got beat. I'm sure they're going to watch that carefully.
Third down for Tiller, 4:20. And low snap, looks right side, throws, and caught. And it's going to be, ball comes out of there late. They might say they're going to say, yeah, he caught it. So the catch is made by number 5, Nick Walker. The coaches from Lafayette saying he dropped the ball.
Yeah, and the officials are talking about that too because, well, that's one I'd like to see a replay on because it looked like he did drop it.
But did he hold on to it long enough and make a football move? You know what I'm saying?
I don't even know if that's a rule. That's something people make up in the pros or something. Make a football move. What's a football move?
Hey, run, catch the ball and run. That's a football move.
Yeah. So it's turning your head and blinking your eyes.
Just like we're getting conflicting reports on Reese Smith. The roster that Chuck Smith sent us says he's a freshman. Now they're saying he's not. So what did he do? Advance in the time we got the roster? Advance in the class? We don't know. We'll try to check that out.
Yeah, you know, we have a friend out there, Dan Reefer, and Dan's watching this game. Gary, probably a little more comfortable. You're complaining about your chair being real hard.
Yes, sir.
He's watching it from his recliner at home.
Sure. That's what they call an armchair quarterback. Right?
Yep.
So 13-7, we do know that. That's for sure. The score is Lafayette on top, 3:40 to go here in the first half. Here, late start. We kicked off at 10:30, folks, so hang in there with us. It's a late night here. Second down and 8 for Tiller. Tiller rolling right. Tiller sets, throws, and it's going to be incomplete.
You have holding against Boyle County, too. Actually, it was a good tackle. They tackled the defensive lineman that was coming in there. Yeah, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt. With 3 minutes and 23 seconds to go in the half, they had a nice little drive going here, and they seem to be going backwards now.
Because the roster says he's a freshman. The one that Chuck Smith sent us. We're going to double check with the PA here at Boyle on Smith, if that is a typo maybe. So, but you know, we like to get those things straight. You know, some of the schools, it's early in the year. A lot of them are sending out rosters that maybe don't jive. We got some numbers with Lafayette that aren't jiving right now.
Yeah, and again, we owe it to these players to get their name right when we call it. So
that's why it's so important that the information sent to us is correct.
Exactly.
Second down. There's Tiller getting pressure. Tiller looking. He's being chased. And it's going to be intercepted by Lafayette. Picked off by the Generals to the 30-yard line. And all the way down the far side of the midfield stripe, the 30-yard line. Cuts it back 25-20. And it's going to take it to the house. Touchdown, Lafayette. Big-time interception. That was Cooper, number 25. We believe that's correct. Anyway, like I said, been a lot of different numbers. Quantaze Cooper, the junior.
Nice job, interception. The quarterback rolling to his left. He's right-handed. Very difficult throw to throw that way, an accurate throw down the field. Great job, intercepted. But here's what I like. Here's what I like to see in high school football. He had made 3 or 4 cuts. Every Lafayette player was sprinting there, but none of them, not one of them, were looking for a block in the back. Good discipline, excellent job.
Extra point coming for Lafayette. Big-time play by Cooper.
We saw that last night. Kickoff return for a touchdown call back because of a block in the back. It was totally unnecessary.
2:46, and now Lafayette leads, and 19 and the extra point no good, so they lead 19-7. Lafayette 2:46, 19-7. We'll be back on the White Greer Maggard game of the week. Lafayette leading Boyle 19-7 here with 2:46 before halftime.
White, Greer, and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
By the numbers, Whitaker Bank loves the Kentucky communities we serve.
There are 50 Whitaker Bank locations serving Kentucky communities just like mine.
61 Whitaker Bank ATMs throughout Kentucky make getting quick access to cash easy.
Whitaker Bank staff.
Coach, about what, 75 yards on that Cooper interception?
75 yards on the Cooper.
Okay, we just got clarification. We just got clarification from Boyle County, PA, that he is a freshman. So I guess the coaches don't know. Here's the return there by Boyle. That's Gervasio, 25, and knocked in at the 25-yard line. And that was Cooper, by the way, that returned that interception. Mike Meehan, 75 yards. I think he intercepted at about the 25 as I was looking down here from the box. So what a nice job. And you talk about a young man that knows what to do it after he's got the football. You're talking about Quantaze Cooper.
Well, I'll tell you what I liked was he got down around the 25, 20-yard line. No, maybe it was a 30-yard line. He made that little fast little gear. He shifted gears and ran right through some tackles.
Right. We want to thank Crown Trophy, too. Crown Trophy, our new plaque sponsor here on PrepSpin, and Crown Trophy, that's Ryan Tyson and the great staff over off of Wilhite Drive, just behind Starbucks off Nicholasville Road. Crown Trophy. 2:41 in Lafayette on that big interception by Cooper. They now lead 19-7 after Boyle jumped up 7-6. Good answer. Here's the quarterback, loses the football, and later they're going to say he was down. Lafayette jumped on to see what the official says. They're going to say he was down.
Right, the referee's right there with the white hat and pointed to the ground. He was down. Nice defense. I'm telling you, it's going to be hard to solve this Lafayette defense. You've got to be able to run the ball against those big defensive linemen.
Yeah, McCoy, I tell you what, number 22 there, he's imposing. I don't care what anybody says. I know he's not huge, but he's 6'2", 225, and he just looks like a football player.
He looks like a football player. Powerful young man, quick feet. I'd like to get to know him a little bit more, or see how he is, what kind of personality he has.
You've got the UFOs coming up at halftime and an interview with Josh Moore from the Herald Leader, the
looking forward to that.
HL Preps reporter, the new high school beat reporter. Tiller gives now to Ashburn. Ashburn up to the 28-yard line, a pickup of about 3 yards. Minute 44, and somebody called a timeout.
Yeah, I believe Lafayette called the timeout.
So timeout on the field. Generals 19, Rebels 7. We'll return here on the White Greer Maggard High School Football Game of the Week to the Rebel Bowl here in Danville.
Serves the needs of nearly 70,000 Kentucky customers every day.
We share your passion, Kentucky. Love the bank that loves you back. Whitaker Bank is uniquely Kentucky. By the numbers, Whitaker Bank loves the Kentucky communities we serve.
Over 30,000 Kentuckians are saving time and money by doing their banking online with Whitaker Electronic Banking.
341,000 transactions were made on the go last year using the Whitaker Bank mobile app.
Over 340,000 text alerts were sent last year with Whitaker Bank Text Banking.
We share your passion, Kentucky. Love the bank that loves you back. Whitaker Bank is uniquely Kentucky.
I'm not happy with my teeth. They're not straight enough.
Let me fix them for you.
No. You are not White, Greer, and Maggard.
I'm sort of like White, Greer, and Maggard. I'm local, love smiles, love to fix things.
No.
We kicked this one off at 10:30. We're about a minute 44 from halftime. Lafayette on top of Boyle, 19-7. Tiller, third down. Here's pressure, and that young man I was talking about, McCoy, the defensive end, all over top of him for the sack. Tejrin McCoy, 6'2 senior, making the play there for Lafayette. I think Lafayette got a timeout to stop that clock because they want that ball back, Coach.
Yeah, that was a senior play, too. Very experienced defensive edge person. He came across. He saw the quarterback was trying to break for it. He squared his shoulders and made the tackle. He didn't turn inside, give him the outside. Nice job. Good job. Again, since a couple years now, Eric Shaw's been their head coach. I've seen a lot of improvement in coaching technique. In other words, players, the way their techniques are, they're clean in their techniques now. They're getting better and better all the time. Obviously, there's things they need to work on, but again, they're doing things at the right way. Yeah,
I agree, and I've seen big improvement in Lafayette over the past few years in their tackling, and that's one thing that we noticed about Henry Clay last night. If they would have tackled better in their game, they could have pulled out a big win over Ryle.
But again, what did I say and what did you say, Gary? When do you start learning to tackle?
Middle school.
That's exactly right.
You don't wait to high school to learn how to ramp up people. Minute 37, and it is 4th down, and we're going to see a punt here by Boyle. Gervasio gets the low punt off, and it drives Lafayette back, and Boyle's going to touch it down at the 40-yard line. No return there, so Lafayette will have the football.
I think number 25 for Lafayette, they're going to have a little conversation with him. I don't know what he was doing standing over the ball like that. That ball, if it touches him, that's a live ball.
Yeah, he realizes he's the punt receiving team, correct?
Yes.
Not the punting team.
Yeah, well,
I mean, you don't stand over the football if you're the punt receiving team.
No, you do not. If that ball bumps his foot, hits a shoelace.
Anything.
It's live.
That's a live ball. Minute 27. Let's see what Walker Wood and Lafayette have in store for us here. Walker Wood, high snap. Brown to his left. Wood rolling left. Wood still rolling. Looking deep. Throws it deep downfield, and it is going to be, is it caught? See the officials right there, and they're going to say, no, just out of bounds. It was actually Noah Phillips, the receiver, who caught the ball, but they say he was just out of bounds.
That was close. That was real close. And that was a tough view for that official. He was sprinting down that sideline. He was pretty far away when that ball was.
Well, there's a flag down. There's a penalty marker down anyway, so I think it's going to come back regardless if he was in bounds or not. So
didn't see that one.
That's going to be replayed because it's going to be offsetting penalties against both teams. So we have a minute 17 here. And Gary Ball, Coach Mike Meehan, William Warfield. First game, Darren Douglas and Bill Ransdale gave you the action of Mercer County's 48-18 win over Bell County. Next Friday night here on PrepSpin, you won't want to miss this one. It is Louisville Trinity, #1 in the state. Lafayette, #2 in the state. And they're going to battle over at Lafayette next Friday. That place will be packed over there, guys. You better get there early, Coach.
It's going to be.
It is going to be packed. And you know what? Something I brought up to you driving over here tonight. Trinity does not come to your house because they can go to so many houses in this country. If they have respect for you, shows you how far Lafayette's come. Here's a quick screen. What a great catch by Brown. 45. Here's another flag. Well, the penalty markers are just flying all over the place here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It was a fake. It was a double screen. You fake the outside screen and then throw the middle screen. Nice play. Maybe took a little too long to develop, but nice play, nice call.
But that was a great catch by Brown.
It was a super catch by Brown. Very dangerous throw that was high.
Yeah, that was a Division I type play by Quentin Brown.
This call is against Boyle County.
As a Rebel player down, too, shaking up. Here come the trainers to work on him at the 45-yard line with just 67 seconds left here in the first half with Lafayette. I tell you, it's been an interesting game, Coach Meehan. You know, you had Lafayette scoring first on the Walker Wood keeper. Then you had Boyle driving down, throwing the long pass, taking the lead. Then you had Walker Wood finding Daquan Edwards down the middle on a long pass to give it back to Lafayette. But the play of the game, I think, has been the big interception by Cooper.
Big interception for a touchdown made a big difference. That penalty was against Lafayette, my fault. Ineligible receiver downfield. These linemen on a – well, you know what? That's tough. On a screen pass, It's pretty darn hard to call ineligible receiver downfield on a short middle screen, but the official must have seen something. We have a player down on the field. Looks like I didn't get his number, but looked like they're looking at his lower leg. We don't like to see that. We had an injury in the first game, but again, it's a tough game, and there's a lot of players leaning on each other and falling on each other inside the interior lines.
Right.
Looks like he's going to be all right, Gary.
You know, I'm really impressed with Lafayette's defense, and I think it's pretty solid up front, and I think it's pretty solid linebacker in the secondary. And you know what? We don't even have their leading tackler. We didn't even have their leading tackler, Ian Shaw, in the game tonight. Ian Shaw's not playing tonight, who's the leading tackler for Lafayette, and they're still looking like gangbusters out there.
Well, we watched the male scrimmage, and we mentioned in that, I mean, it was a scrimmage, okay? But in the first half of the male scrimmage, they looked pretty good defensively. That's number 15 for Boyle County that's being helped off the field. Hopefully that young man is okay. I know it's tough to Reese Smith. Tough to be in that situation, but we'll hope he's okay. All right, we've got first and about 15. Snap to Walker Wood.
Wood firing down to Guilfoyle. Some contact there. Let's see if we get a flag. And Guilfoyle pleading his case, number 17, but he's not going to win that battle with 56 seconds, and there is going to be no flag on that one. So
I don't understand that at all.
There was a lot of contact.
There was a whole lot of contact, and the receiver was out ahead of the defensive backs, so therefore it can't be, incidental contact unless he stepped on his heels.
Yep.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
56 seconds here in the first half. Lafayette 19, Boyle 7. And Boyle's got a solid defense as well, Coach. But I tell you what, they've really held Mitchell Paycheck tonight in check, really. Here's Wood firing downfield, and it's going to be incomplete. Trying to go down to Newcomb.
Again, I just don't understand. I don't understand throwing the bomb against this defense. I mean, maybe right before half, you got 50 seconds left to go in half. You want to try to make a big play. But, boy, I tell you what, as good as they are throwing the football, I don't know, throwing the little circle, the little curls, the underneath stuff, the crossing.
At halftime, Coach, we'll get some stats from WL Stats. We'll have the numbers from these two teams at halftime. 50 seconds here. Third down and 15 for Walker Wood. It's got Bennett. Fakes to Bennett. Bennett leads it. Now Wood's going to tuck it. Gets a block. Wood up to the 45 midfield. Wood lowers that shoulder and is going to get the first down as he lowered that shoulder and said, you're not going to take me down, number 12 there. And that was Wilburn for Boyle. And I think with that second shoulder down there, Walker Wood got the first down.
Yeah, a little zone read, I think. He ran to the outside and got the corner. Nice job of lowering his shoulder, but also a nice job of getting out of bounds, too, to stop that clock. We'll move the chains, but we're in no hurry now with 40.9 seconds. The clock's not going to start until the ball snap.
Bennett, midfield, Bennett. Down the left side, 40, and Bennett down to the 37-yard line. Brandon Bennett.
Nice job there, too. Again, getting out of bounds, stopping the clock, moving the football nice and cleanly now. Here's where Lafayette wants to play general football. They really do. They want to really, really do the things that they've game planned for and get the ball in the end zone, at least get a field goal out of it right before half and get the momentum. On the other hand, Boyle County, they need to stop them.
Yep.
They need to go in here.
One Shaw is on the sideline, though. We talked about Coach Eric not being there, and Ian is Enrique Shaw. Here's a pass down the middle. He's got a receiver down there, and it's caught. Touchdown. What a catch. What an unbelievable catch by Daquan Edwards, his second touchdown catch tonight. That's big time.
They need to look for him like that. I'm again, throwing deep like that, you're looking for the big play, and they got the big play that time. Nice job by Daquan catching the football. Walker Wood set his feet. Good presence in the pocket. Nice throw.
What a great pass there by. We'll get the numbers for Walker here. We're just 24 seconds from halftime. Here comes the extra point by the Generals. They lead now, 25-7, Coach? I'm blocked.
25-7.
25-7. I'm blocked by the goalpost. Here's the kick up, and it is good. So 26-7 Lafayette, 24 seconds here before halftime. And we'll return on the White Greer Maggard High School football game of the week.
Sorta you isn't you. White, Greer, and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
All S, all P, all O, R, T, S. Pick it up at all sports. Pick it up at all sports.
In Fayette Mall on Facebook and Twitter, locally owned and operated since 1972.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that
Here's the kickoff by Averett, and it's going to be covered over there by Boyle at the 46-yard line by one of the up men over there.
Yeah, he topped the ball a little bit. I don't think that was an onside kick. I think it was just a squib kick, trying to keep any kind of a run back. So good field position on about the 50, but, you know, it's a tough go. Lafayette has really dominated this game in the second quarter. Boyle County, again, I know Chuck Smith is going to be really concerned about his inability to run the football against Lafayette. On the other hand, Coach Shaw, his group, maybe cut down the penalties a little bit. You know, some of the movement penalties when they're going in motion, etc. That's about the only weakness I've seen.
23 seconds here in the first half, and they give now to the second man through, and that's going to be Crawford, the sophomore running back. Tanner Crawford, his first carry tonight.
It was a nice job. Desmond Black with a nice tackle.
Might do it for the first half as we're down to 8 seconds. Coming up, the Mike Meehan UFOs and special guest here at halftime, Josh Moore from the Herald Leader. We're at halftime, and it's been all Lafayette. After a slow start, they lead now 26-7 over Boyle County. We'll come back at halftime here on the White Greer Maggard High School football game of the week.
Last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life. By the numbers, Whitaker Bank loves the Kentucky communities we serve.
Whitaker Bank supports 496 Kentucky schools.
Over 282,000 students benefit from Whitaker Bank's Kentucky education initiatives.
Whitaker Bank has contributed almost $441,000 to education programs for the advancement of Kentucky's youth.
We share your passion, Kentucky.
Love the bank that loves you back.
Whitaker Bank is uniquely Kentucky.
I'm not loving my smile. I should have got braces when I was a kid. I want my teeth to be straight.
Dude, go to White Greer and Maggard. So, I see you took my advice. Better?
Oh, better.
You're not you when your teeth aren't straight. Get started at White, Greer, and Maggard today.
All S, all P, all O, R, T, S. Pick it up at all sports. Pick it up at all sports.
In Fayette Mall and allsportslex.com, locally owned and operated since 1972.
It may not require a textbook, but it's filled with valuable lessons. It may not take place in a classroom, but it's an ideal environment for learning. It may not involve a diploma, but it can help prepare Kentucky's young people for life. It's high school sports. High school sports can play a critical role in a student's overall education. In fact, studies show that students that participate in high school sports are more likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in their academic lives. If you think high school sports are only about competition, think again. Better yet, think about attending a high school sporting event in your community. You'll be amazed by what you see. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Kentucky High School Athletic Association and the Kentucky High School Athletic Directors Association.
Welcome back to Boyle County High School on the outskirts of beautiful Danville, Kentucky, where the Rebel Bowl is at halftime. Score Lafayette 26, Boyle County 7. Good game so far, a lot of fun. We're having a good time up here. We started late. The game was supposed to start at 6, started about 8, so we're running late, but we're doing a good job here, keeping things going. William Warfield on all the mechanics here, and super job. He's running the computer and running the camera, so it's a tough day for him. We're going to do, this is halftime, so we do what we normally do, our famous UFO award. Now, what the UFO award is UFO stands for Unheralded Football Overachiever. I came up with this a few years ago, realizing after many years of coaching that there's a lot of people that get involved in the program that maybe don't get quite as much credit for what they do as maybe some other people do. So we give a UFO award to each team. Each coach the week before gives us a call and lets us know who they want to nominate for this award. We'll start with Lafayette. They're nominating their senior center, Will Bischoff. Now, the reason is there are other players, especially one on Lafayette's team, that seems to get a lot of press. But Will Bischoff is a very special football player. Will's a 4-year starter on the offensive line for Lafayette. He's an excellent student, football player, and even a better young man. Love to hear that. Will wants to go to college and study to be a vet, which is a noble, noble profession. He's an honor roll student at Lafayette as well. And by the way, Lafayette's a very high academic school, and being an honor student there, that means something. Coach Shaw says in his quotes, Will Bischoff is a one-of-a-kind football player. His ability to run and pass block are hard to find, not to mention his cognitive skills he has for the game. At Lafayette, the staff, the players, everyone is very proud of Will, and he's proud to call him a general. So we want to congratulate Will Bischoff as Lafayette's UFO for the Boyle County Rebel Bowl. Now let's go to Boyle County. When I talked to Coach Smith, he immediately mentioned Tyler Gardner. Tyler Gardner is a senior, 5'5" now, 155-pound linebacker, running back. Coach Smith says Tyler's a special young man. He seldom sees the field. He doesn't get on the field very often, but he holds a very important role for the Rebel football team. Coach Smith credits Tyler as being one of the hardest working players he has. In Coach Smith's words, Tyler works his rear off every day as a scout team player. Tyler Gardner lost his father a year ago, and he still struggles with that. But he never misses practice, works hard every day, and has one objective in mind, to help make the Boyle County team the best that it can be. I want to congratulate a true unheralded football overachiever, Tyler Gardner, senior, Boyle County. And let me tell you from coaching experience, you got to have those guys on the football team. You have a guy like that who may not play a lot of football, but he busts his rear end every day in practice and games, works hard to make your team better. Can't beat it. Can't beat it at all. Super job. Congratulations to both of our UFOs. Okay, now, I'm looking forward to this for a long time. I'm not going to give them a hard time. I promise them that. The youngest person up here in the press box, our friend Josh Moore, who is now the sports writer, let's say, for the Herald, high school sports writer for Herald Leader. Let me tell you something about being a high school sports writer, Josh. I've watched Mike Fields over the year do that. Oh, it'd be nice if you could cover football and somebody else come in and cover basketball. Oh, by the way, you have baseball. You know, a little help with soccer on the girls' side, but you still have to do all these things. Did you know what you're going to get into when you got into it?
Well, we you can only prepare so much, as you know that from game time. I actually, when I took over the job, I didn't. It had like a week's lead time, and so I went out with Mike to the state baseball championship for a day or two, and next week I took over. So it was a lot of learning on the fly last year, and it was a lot of fun to get to know people, and now have this second year here where I can actually get out and really do what I want to do, because I've met the folks I need to meet, connected with the schools, especially here in Lexington, in Central Kentucky.
Now you're originally from Sheldon Clark, so you're an Eastern Kentucky guy, but you went to school at UK, so you're familiar with the area. Being from Sheldon Clark and working in Lexington, this is something I've always been interested in. What is the difference in football programs between the city of Lexington schools and the Eastern Kentucky schools?
Well, I think the biggest thing that I've noticed is it seems like fan support. It's a lot, because Lexington, there's a lot of stuff to do. You hear that from coaches, you hear that from just the general public. There is a lot more to do in Lexington than there is Inez, Kentucky, where I'm from. We have a McDonald's, and that didn't get built till my senior year of high school. So, Friday night, that's where you go, and that's what you talk about all week, going through the week, and after the weekend, after they've won or lost, you dissect it, and you obviously have big programs like Belfry and Johnson Central out there, but you also, even the little guys, the East Ridges of the world, the Jenkins, the Harlans, those guys, that's what they, they're not winning a lot of games, but they're still having a lot of fun, and those communities rally around those kids, and that's really what it's about at its core. And I think there's some of that here in town or here in Lexington, but there's even you see the difference here in Boyle County. I think there's a difference in what they do as far as fan level goes, and the city schools there in town.
Well, I've noticed that too, and I think a lot of times, like you said, there's also a kind of dilution of participation in Lexington. And they're building a new school now too, so that's going to dilute things even a little bit more. Okay, here's another thing. You kind of moved around. You've seen football in Eastern Kentucky, Central Kentucky, a little south, and so on. Talk about coaches a little bit. Now, what have you noticed about high school football coaches in the state of Kentucky?
Well, you have a lot of smart guys. I think there's a lot of I think what's underrated about Kentucky football coaches is there really are a lot of guys that they're first and foremost promoting these kids. I think the biggest thing I've taken away is, their first job is obviously to create good young men. And really, a lot of them, at least I think, the good ones are out trying to get their guys in front of, college coaches when they can, sending out videos saying, hey, come watch my guys here. I know you might have to drive 2 hours in a back road and not, get lost a couple times on the way, but they're worth coming to see. And then a lot of the coaches, they're very active and try to schedule in ways where they can get out into the Lexingtons of the world and Louisvilles and take their kids, into places where coaches are coming. And I think that's the level of attention to that has really improved.
Well, what part of your job has been the hardest for you?
Well, I guess currently the biggest thing is trying to get people aware that we're really active online, and that's where a lot of this is going now. I know that's not what people want to hear. Well, maybe the people watching this broadcast do, because they're obviously tuned in on the internet and doing that, but the print product is not going away, but it's not where the most recent action is happening.
Well, we talked about this before, and I'll tell you, I'm one of those I'm one of those older guys that love my newspaper. I just do. And my cup of coffee in the morning, my newspaper at a certain time. And with 35 years of coaching, and I mentioned this to you too, I used to get so mad sometimes when it was written about my football teams, and I would take that paper and I'd take it out and throw it in the street. Then my wife would go get it and bring it back. And then maybe a week later, I'd read it and say, God, this is really good. They're doing a nice job of reporting. But I really got attached to my newspaper at a certain time. Real quickly, can you kind of real quick just give a little overview of what's happening as far as the deadlines and so on?
Yeah, no, and that's something that I think we can keep improving on as far as telling people about that. Basically, copy deadline, which was what us reporters work with, is 9:30 now. It used to be 11 o'clock. And that, even that was at a point that was really tight as far as high school football goes. But now it's at a point where it's impossible. We're not, after these first couple weeks of bowl games where games are starting at 6, we're not going to be able to do a story right out of the gate that's going to be in your Saturday paper. It's going to be online. It'll be online well before you could have seen it in the paper. But I understand, like you said, people wake up. That's what they want to do. They want to see, if Henry Clay beat Lafayette that next morning.
Okay, let's be practical here. All right, let's be practical. What happens tonight? What happens with the Lafayette Boyle County game?
Well, I think we're seeing what's happening. I think Lafayette.
No. I mean, what happens to your story?
Well, tonight I kind of. I was sitting in Lexington. I was having dinner, and I thought I'm just gonna go. I wasn't even scheduled to come out here. I decided to come on my own accord. Give people a little look. It's a little unique. A game starts at 10:30. That doesn't happen a lot. So the night owls out there, keeping up with it, and we'll probably do a video, something. I'll put together a little video package and something, something for people to see.
Okay, listen, I appreciate it. We're gonna go over some stats here real quick, and I just want to let you know that we're behind you. We really like what you're doing. Congratulations on your work with the Lexington Herald Leader, and a lot of confusion with deadlines and stuff like that. But what you just said there really impressed me. The fact that you came here to watch a football game and maybe help the fans a little bit understand what's going on. So thanks a lot, Josh, and we appreciate it very much.
Oh yeah, appreciate it so much. You guys are at the forefront too. So.
Well, that's Josh, or the high school sports reporter for the Herald Leader, and very impressive young man, youngest man in the press box, and a great job. So we're going to take a quick break right now, and then we'll come back and throw you some stats. This is the Boyle County Rebel Bowl here, White Greer Maggard, sponsored by PrepSpin.
We started this business in 1998. We're part of a franchise company. Just a little bit of history. It was my dad and I. I had some experience in the awards business. My dad came out of the corporate world, and we put our heads together and started Crown Trophy. So we've been in business. This is our 18th year since we started. We believe in giving back to the community, helping out the community. The community helps us, keeps us in business, and we believe, if we help the community will help us in the future. We've got a wide range of different products, everything from crystal, acrylic plaques, youth sports awards. We've got a full line of promotional products, full line of signage, banners, yard signs. We also carry some gift items for holidays and different gifts and things. So like I said, we've got a wide range of different products. Two things, we're part of the national franchise. There's 150 of our stores across the country. We have a buying power. We also have exclusive products that our headquarters were based just out of New York, or just north of New York City. We have a buying power of 150 stores, therefore we're able to offer low-cost products and offer exclusive products that you can't get anywhere else other than Crown Trophies. We've got about an 85-page catalog with full of different products. We print it once a year. Comes out usually in January of each year. But we continue throughout the year to add new products, and those are updated on our website throughout the year. And we're continually growing our product line and adding new products and that type of thing all year long. www.crowntrophylex.com. We're located at 2680 Wilhite Drive. That's just on the corner of Nicholasville and New Circle, directly behind Starbucks off of Nicholasville Road. Everybody loves recognition.
White, Greer, and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
By the numbers, Whitaker Bank loves the Kentucky communities we serve.
There are 50 Whitaker Bank locations serving Kentucky communities just like mine.
61 Whitaker Bank ATMs throughout Kentucky make getting quick access to cash easy.
Whitaker Bank staff serves the needs of nearly 70,000 Kentucky customers every day.
We share your passion, Kentucky. Love the bank that loves you back. Whitaker Bank is uniquely Kentucky.
Welcome back to the Rebel Bowl here at Danville. Gary Ball with Coach Mike Meehan, and it is 26-7 here at halftime. The Lafayette Generals up thanks to Josh Moore again with the Herald Leader for joining us. I always like the good inside information Josh gives us. You know, he just tells it like it is. He's real, gives us the good, information that we like. He doesn't sugarcoat it. And Coach, we're heading to the second half, and we've already heard. By the way, Bluegrass Preps is out there tonight. Rob Bacigalupo and Bluegrass Preps. We appreciate those folks. A lot of folks are watching and tweeting from Twitter land tonight about so forth and everything. But here we are, Coach. It is 10 after midnight, and we're starting the second half here of a high school football game.
Happy Sunday to you, by the way.
Yes, I'll be going to church later. I know you will be too, Coach.
I am. Look at the stats real quickly if we can, Gary. I'm really impressed with Lafayette in these stats. They're leading in first downs, 11-7. Rushing yardage, 12 rush, 147 yards, 143 yards passing net. If you look at some of those individual statistics for Lafayette, they look pretty darn good throwing the football.
Yeah, except Walker Wood, who did look good on some really nice TD passes, both of them going to Edwards, by the way. Only 6 of 14 with the one pick, but 143 yards and 2 touchdown passes.
Well, the 2 touchdowns makes a difference.
Yes,
really
those were pretty.
And Quentin Brown, what about him?
Absolutely. Big first half, Had 3 catches, 58 yards. So thanks to WL Stats for those numbers, and we're set for the second half. Gary Ball with Coach Mike Meehan, William Warfield here, 26-7, and Boyle County set to kick off. Low kick, and it'll bounce around, and it'll be scooped up finally by Lafayette at the 20, up to the 30, up to the 32-yard line. That's where the Generals will return the football, and it's returned there by Newcomb.
Pretty good coverage on that. He bobbled the ball a little bit. Sometimes that really means danger when you bobble the football. But actually, pretty good job.
I got to ask you, Coach. You coached at Dunbar. You coached at a state championship program at Lexington Christian back in the day. So, how tough is it mentally to come into Boyle County, who's a good program, but knowing if you're Lafayette, knowing you've got Trinity in your house next Friday night?
Yeah, you don't want to look ahead. That's a really good scheduling job, scheduling Boyle right before Trinity, because when you play Boyle, you're going to get a battle. Those kids will never give up.
Yeah, you're going to get their best.
And I just worry about early in the season playing a team like Trinity because of the depth. That's the only thing I would worry about.
Walker Wood pump fakes. A little screen back to Quentin Brown. Brown at the 35. Brown and takes it up to the 30. It's going to be about an 8-yard pickup to Quentin Brown on a little screen over to the near side. Nicely set up there, Coach, for QB Quentin Brown. And he won some kind of weightlifting championship or some award, didn't he, Coach? We were talking about it at the male scrimmage a few weeks ago.
Right, yeah. It was like a powerlifting competition or something.
So that's pretty strong, to say the least. And you got back in there Javarius Robinson, the senior running back. He's in there with Walker Wood. Twin receivers ball. High snap. Wood taps it up. Walker's going to tuck it. Come back to the near side. Wood scrambling, dancing, and is going to break a tackle to 40, up to the 45, midfield, cuts it back. There goes Walker Wood, gets a block. He comes back 30. He is gone, folks. 20. That is 10-5. That's vintage of what he did against Mayo last year in the state championship game. That is very much to that long TD run he had against Mayo in that state championship. I mean, he was zigging and zagging and breaking tackles and people grabbing his jersey. Walker Wood takes it to the house, and just like that, it's 32-7 Lafayette.
Amazing, excellent run, and off of a bad play. The snap was high. He bobbled the snap. Not his fault. It was high snap. Did a lot of that on his own. If I can venture to say something, Gary.
Yes, sir.
Reminds me of somebody the way he was running the football.
Johnny Manziel.
No, reminds me of another quarterback years back.
Ben Meehan?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Captain Ben Meehan. He was watching last night. Probably too late tonight for Captain Ben Meehan. He's probably in bed. Here's the kick is up, and it is good. So Lafayette makes it 33-7 on the long run by Walker Wood, and that was a vintage. You'll want to go back and look at that one, you Lafayette fans. So 33-7 Lafayette. They're pulling away here from Boyle County. Big 6A powerhouse Generals, 11:03.
Watching a replay here, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4. He got away from 4 tackles there on that run. And again, let me compliment Lafayette, because we see this a lot in high school football. When you have a quarterback that scrambles like that, you see blocks in the back. A lot of times, unnecessary blocks behind the play.
Yeah.
No, sir. They escorted him. That's all they did, is escorted him to the end zone.
That's second TD rushing by Walker Wood. He's now over 140 yards rushing, Coach Walker Wood, the quarterback for Eric Shaw, and Lafayette, the head coach for the Generals. Enrique Shaw is captaining the ship over there tonight for the Generals. Who's the actual head coach tonight, Coach Meehan?
I honestly don't know. I'm watching. They all seem to be sharing it. I know somebody had to be in charge of the famous pep talk before the game, but I have no idea who would be the head man there. Maybe it was Gary McPeak. He's a good one.
Yeah,
I know that.
He is a good one. Gary McPeak, the offensive line coach. Here's the short kick, and gets away from Boyle, picked up at the 25 and up to the 30. Here comes a flag down, and on the return there by Boyle, and returning that one was Zach Hodge on the return, but there is a flag coming down.
That was thrown by the referee way behind the play, called holding against Boyle on the return, which is really going to hurt him. It's going to knock it back another 10 yards.
Lexington Lafayette has been dominant, and really, since Boyle took that 7-6 lead, Coach, they have ripped off 27 unanswered, Lafayette.
Excellent job. Really, really excellent.
Kind of in mind of St. X last night against Catholic. After Catholic jumped out 28-0, then St. X ripped off 42 unanswered.
Yeah, I know. We saw that. That surprises both. It really did.
When you got a cough, you got to take your headset off, and now it's squeaking at me over here. At the 20, here is handoff up the middle, and Ashburn to the 23-yard line. And actually, that's going to be the backup, Tanner Crawford.
Yeah, Tanner ran into a real buzzsaw up there. About 4 Lafayette Generals hit him and held him for a very, very short gain, maybe 2 yards. Again, Boyle County hasn't found a solution yet for this strong front line of the Lafayette defense.
Mercer County won earlier tonight, a game that didn't kick off to 8 o'clock. We kicked off at 10:30. Pass Tiller over to the near side to Walker. Walker and the other quarterback takes it up to the 29-yard line, close to the first down marker. It's kind of interesting how they had a battle between Nick Walker and Sam Tiller for the starting quarterback, and they're both listed on the depth chart as the quarterback, Coach Meehan, but yet, Walker's become more of a receiver now.
Exactly, and is really doing a nice job. Again, they're using that screen pass, which can be successful for those 5, 6, 7 yards. It's tough to get more than that against a team that's that fast, though.
Lafayette showing blitz, and they jumped off sides. I believe Big Xavier Douglas got moving, and Douglas pointing toward movement by the Boyle O-line, and see what the white cap tells us. It's going to be against Lafayette. So that's going to be first down for Boyle. That was 3rd and about 2, so that'll give them the first down up to the 33-yard line. 9:38 to go here. In this third quarter of action at the Rebel Bowl in Danville, Gary Ball, Mike Me, and William Warfield. Second game tonight. Boy, you won't want to miss next Friday night. It'll be Trinity out of Louisville taking on Lexington Lafayette at Ishmael Stadium. Kind of looking forward to that one. But I don't want to look ahead as a broadcaster either, Coach. Quick pass, near side to Tarter, 32.
You're just not going to get yardage on that screen to the short side of the field. It's just tough against a team that can pursue like that. I think I just heard via Twitter that Alex Matthews is acting as head coach.
Alex Matthews. I think you're exactly right. I heard that earlier. I just forgot what I heard. Alex Matthews, that is correct, is the acting head coach. Give a shout out to Eric and Ian. Here's second down. And going to be sacked back at the 26-yard line.
It's a nice job again there. Get that penetration and get in on the quarterback before he can set his feet and throw. Honestly, that's what one of the things that Boyle County's going to have to figure out how to do. If they can get into Walker Wood, if they can frustrate him a little bit, but not let him run outside, though, not let him break the pocket. If they can do that, they might be more successful defensively.
And look who's come in at defensive tackle now. Big Jed Wills is in there, big number 73, coach for the Lafayette Generals, all 6'5", 315 pounds of him. Quarterback rolling left and throws it out there, caught, and boy, a big-time hit put on, but a nice job hanging on to the football over there by Quinn, Cameron Quinn, the sophomore. And that's going to force a punt here by Quinn. Quinn did a nice job, Coach, holding on that football.
He did, because that was a nice, solid tackle. Again, this is going to give Lafayette good field positions with a 33-7 lead, 7 minutes and change in the third quarter. This could be a big break for them if they can get another score here. Bad punt, rolled off the side of his foot. Got a good roll though, Gary. On about the 40-yard line.
Gotcha. And here is, that was back deep to receive was Newcomb.
Didn't get anywhere near him.
Nope, you're right, Coach. No return at all. And see, Lafayette will have it at the 39. Louisville Male last year had all that talent, Coach, and won the state championship, and then finished 8th in the country last year, number 8 in the country. This year, they played Lafayette over in the scrimmage. We did that game. I thought Lafayette's ones beat Male's ones, Coach. You would agree with that?
Oh, I'd agree with it 100%. Now, Male did lose some superstars last year, a bunch of them.
And Trinity this year is ranked in most polls number 1 over Lafayette. So we'll answer a lot of questions next Friday over at Lafayette, won't we, Coach? As you said, it is early in the season.
I do, but I have faith in the Generals. I honestly believe that they can stand in there and play, and they've got something to prove, too.
Guilfoyle slot to the left, Walker Wood. And he gives now to the running back, and he takes it up to midfield, still on his feet, finally upended over there. And that's going to be Darwin Flores.
It's a nice saving tackle over there by Boyle County Rebel. Kind of dove at his feet and made the tackle.
So Flores, I will say this about the coaching staff tonight for Lafayette. They have used a stable of running backs.
They have, and that's a good thing to do early in this season when it's a little hot, a little humid.
Walker Wood turns to his running back. 7 minutes to go in the third. High snap. Wood looking. Now rolling. He's got Bennett open. Fires it down the right side, and Bennett makes a great catch down to the 23-yard line. Brandon Bennett, he came out of his pattern there, Coach. I saw it all the way. Walker Wood waited for him, pump faked, and Brandon Bennett was wide open down the far side. A great catch by Bennett. He's going to become a weapon for Lafayette, I think.
Yeah, he is. I think they'll use him more and more as the year goes on. Walker Wood did a nice job. He felt a little pressure. It's tough to be a quarterback because, it's like standing in the between two highways with cars running back and forth at you on either side. You have to keep your composure. He's very, very good at keeping his composure, keeping his eyes downfield.
Our coach hitting you with a wiffle ball bat. That's
not.
Here's Wood. Passes over to Newcomb. Newcomb spun around.
Gary Ball, you're going to get me in trouble.
20-yard line.
You're going to get me in trouble.
Well, I'm just saying that was there's coaches that like to do that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Come on, it's not a real bat. It's a wiffle ball bat. Yeah, well. Be a man. Stand in there and take it.
Yeah, well. let's, again, like I said, let's little good football game going on here. Let's talk about football game.
Well, we are talking about football. Okay, second down, Coach. 6 minutes to go in the third, and Lafayette just really impressive here, Coach, since about the second quarter, really.
Good, and I like their play choices here. Again, they're running the ball well. They're hitting the corners really well. Using a lot of running backs, like you said.
And a lot of receivers.
Option.
Wood, quick toss back inside, and I think he fumbled the ball. And let's see, Boyle County said they've got it. Yeah, they did fumble. Boyle County was able to jump on it, so Boyle's got it at the 24-yard line. Boyle County recovers the fumble there. It was an inside toss, Coach.
Yeah, it was a shovel pass, and I honestly, I believe the coaches kind of outsmarted themselves on that play. That was probably something they'd seen on film that they can maybe use in a situation. But what you realize is a shovel pass works well against a team that's penetrating, the team that's beating your offensive line. Their offensive line hadn't been beaten, so maybe that was a little bit of a chance there. And it did backfire.
So let's see what Boyle can do offensively here. They got double tights. Quarterback goes under center for the first time tonight. Tiller slides left. He gives now to Crawford. Crawford up to about the 28-yard line. Pickup of about 3 yards for Tanner Crawford. He's a 6 foot, 180-pound sophomore.
They got some young players here on Boyle County's team that in the future it looks like they're going to be pretty strong at certain positions.
Yeah, their sophomore class is really good here at Boyle County with 5 minutes and 15 seconds to go. You know, we talked about it last year. We said, Lafayette's really good this year when they made that state championship run to play Mail in the finals. But we said, hey, next year they're going to be really, really good. And I think this is a really setting up for a really good season for Lafayette.
And there's going to be some tough teams in their way. We watched Henry Clay. Henry Clay's a good football team. Scott County's a good football team.
Here's a handoff again to Crawford. Crawford up to the 33-yard line.
The thing about Henry Clay, Gary, is, and again, I'm sure when Lafayette gets around to playing them, they're scary on kickoff returns, punt returns, things like that.
Yeah,
they can break them.
When you got the state's fastest player, Jackson,
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, they're a tough road to go. But honestly, they're a good football team, Lafayette is, and they're showing that tonight.
Yeah, they've held Boyle to 7 points so far, and we're late in the third quarter here on Boyle County's field. Remember, this is Boyle County's home field. Third down. Movement by one of the linemen. He jumped off a little bit there.
Chuck Smith. I was watching Chuck. He just shook his head. Shook his head like, oh, come on, what else? Come on, guys. This isn't necessary. That puts you in a real tough situation now. You're 3rd and 9 against a really good defensive team backed up. That's a tough way to go.
Walker Wood just electrified at least the Lafayette crowd over on the far sideline with that run that he just had. And I tell you what, that was reminiscent of that state championship run touchdown he had last year against Mayo. Remember that long run he had?
Absolutely.
Zigging and zagging. Third down. Low snap. Tiller looking left, throws, and behind his receiver, incomplete.
And that's a tough throw. Lafayette had dropped that linebacker out of there too, and he had to throw over his head and under the safety on that side, or the corner maybe. But again, it's tough pressure. I tell you, he's feeling it.
3:44, and they're going to punt again. See who's back deep. Looks like, is that Newcomb back deep? No, it's going to be QB back there, Brown. And over in Brown. It's going to watch it roll. It's going to go back, scoop it. Gets it at the 30. Brown, and up to the 35-yard line, Quentin Brown. And that's where Lafayette will have it with just 3:32 in the third. Generals will have it at the 34-yard line, leading 33-7 here late in the third quarter. Gary Ball with Coach Mike Meehan and William Warfield here on PrepSpin. Shout out again to Sergeant Anthony Steinman watching over in the rack. And who else we got, Coach? Any other shout outs?
Well, we have a lot of people tweeting us. We're getting a lot of tweets here. William's got them up on the board here.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of people watching the game, surely, and rooting for their team. A lot of people.
And it's almost 12:30, so we commend you for staying up this late. That must be loyal high school football fans up this late on a Saturday night, or Sunday morning, if you will. Walker Wood passing right side, and he takes it up to the 43-yard line. That's going to be Guilfoyle. I like this Guilfoyle kid, Coach. I think he has just got great hands. He had 7 catches last week against Dunbar, and catch there for Guilfoyle. In the first half, Guilfoyle only had the 1 catch of 13 yards, but I like Guilfoyle.
I do too.
I'm a fan.
I think he's a tough kid too, by the looks of it. He takes those licks pretty easily.
He reminds
me like Bovier.
Yeah, he reminds me of Mason Allstat a little bit.
Oh, Mason Allstat too. Sure.
Sure-handed and could run with it after he caught it. Walker Wood fires right side. He's got Brown, it looks like, and Brown is going to battle down to the 46-yard line. That
was a nice play. That was a little curl route on the outside. He realized that the corner was backing off, I guess. But that's what we call, when you're coaching a quarterback, one of the things you talk about called a grip and rip. You get the ball in your hands. It's like you're taking a 3-step drop, but you're already back 3 because you're in shotgun. And you just grip the ball anywhere. You don't look for the laces, Gary. You just grip it and rip it, throw it.
Grip it and rip. 2:39 to go in the third. It's all Lafayette all the time, 33-7. They lead Boyle by 26. Fake it now. Walker Wood's going to tuck it. Wood's at the 40. He's at the 30, 20, and he is going to take it to the house. Walker Wood, another touchdown, 47-yard run there by Walker Wood, headed to Kentucky. And I tell you what, Coach, he's looking more and more like a good college quarterback, isn't he?
He is, and he's got the height. He looks good. Nice job on the read. I don't know if that was a design play by the staff at Lafayette or whether it was a zone read where he just read the thing himself. But super job. Nice run. Explosive speed.
His 3rd touchdown rushing tonight.
It's a good night for him.
For W squared.
You know, I don't suspect to see a lot of Walker Wood in the fourth quarter. The way that Lafayette's playing defense, or at least if he's playing in the fourth quarter, I don't think he'll be running the ball very much.
Averett in for the extra point, and it is good. So Lafayette now 40, Boyle County 7, 2 minutes, 23 seconds in the third. Thank all of our sponsors tonight. You've been hearing from Whitaker Bank, UK Sports Medicine, all the great sponsors, All Sports. White Greer and Maggard. We'll return on the White Greer Maggard High School football game of the week. Lafayette up 40-7.
I'm not happy with my teeth. They're not straight enough.
Let me fix them for you.
No. You are not White Greer and Maggard.
I'm sort of like White Greer and Maggard. I'm local, love smiles, love to fix things.
No.
Sorta you isn't you. White Greer and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
All S, all
Here's the kick taken by Boyle up to the 42-yard line.
Kind of missed the kick a little bit there, but again, it was one of those squib. It was one of those squib things where they're not trying to kick deep. They're not taking a chance on Boyle running the kick back and getting back in this game. So.
Yeah, Coach, I'm sorry about that. I turned our mics off. I was getting a lot of squealing in my ears, so I turned them off.
Well, that's all right. No, they didn't miss anything.
No, it's 40-7 Lafayette. I don't think they're missing much at all. Lafayette's just really putting a beat down here on Boyle. This kind of surprises me. I guess shouldn't, but it is a little bit. And I give up to the 45, and that's going to be Crawford. 2:10 to go here. The reason I say that, Coach, is because I have so much respect for Chuck Smith and the Boyle County program that I'm surprised they're not putting more out there tonight on their home floor, on their home field against. That's just telling me how good Lafayette potentially can be, I guess.
It is, and I'm surprised too. I'm really surprised that they're not moving the football a little bit better than they are running the football.
That's really what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So 2nd down and 6.
Lafayette's changed their defense.
Hand off. That's Crawford again.
Nice tackle.
Yeah, really good tackle by Brandon Lane.
I like Brandon Lane too, by the way. We've seen him a little. Lafayette has definitely been prepared for this game. They've watched film or whatever, because they're changing their defense. They're in the right defense on long yardage. They're in the correct defense on short yardage. Pretty nice job. But when you got those 4 guys up front, you can do a lot of things. Linebackers are good. They're roving. They're getting around. They're not falling for fakes. Pretty nice job.
And we've got to thank the Boyle County folks for helping us with the setup here tonight. Tiller fires down the middle to Tarter, incomplete, down at the 30-yard line.
Yeah, that was they were just trying something. They were trying to get across that middle. When they were in that cover 2 look, that play might have been pretty good if you can occupy one of those safeties. But they were in a single safety look there, and he ran right into coverage. Tough, very tough.
Well, we know the Lafayette Generals have Trinity next Friday at home. We'll have that game right here on PrepSpin. Looking forward to that next Friday night.
Wow. So many bad snaps in this game.
Punt it almost hit a Lafayette player, and Boyle County jumped on it. Let's see. And coaches are upset that their players are once again getting close to the standing around the football on the return team.
Right. The coaches for Lafayette are next door to us, and they're not real happy about that coverage. I'll tell you, they're getting a little vocal over there. They just don't like that. We've seen that a couple times tonight.
And I like those guys. Last year, remember the Henry Clay Lafayette game? I was right in the press box with them calling the game.
Yes.
And I like those guys. I like those Lafayette coaches. Man.
I do too.
They're great guys.
They're going to be all over those guys in practice. You can't stand around the ball when you're on the punt team.
They got me fired up in that press box last year.
You're on the punt return team. You're letting the ball roll, and they're dancing over it. It was a Dancing with the Stars or something, you know.
Walker Wood still in there, just 52 seconds here in the third. Wood gives now to Bennett. Bennett left side looking for the seam, bounces it outside, loses the ball, and let's see, Boyle jumps on it. Bennett trying to make something out of it, but lost the ball.
That's tough. I'll tell you, carrying that ball, that's important. That's one of the things that coaches constantly put pressure on you. Even when you're trying to get extra yardage, you got to cover the football, put as many surface areas of your body on the ball that you can. That was tough. That was a bad break for Lafayette. Now, let's see what Boyle County can do. The Rebels under Chuck Smith, they've got to be really frustrated right now. They've got to try to get something going. And look, they don't have enough people in it. They just got their 11th man.
And still in at quarterback is Sam Tiller, the 6'2 junior. Remember, Josiah Robbins was such a good quarterback for Boyle the last couple years, Coach. Big kid. Handoff now to Crawford, and he's down to the 33, pickup of about 4. And see for Lafayette.
Yeah, 54, I believe.
Lane helped out on that play. He's been on a number of plays tonight.
Yeah, I like him. I was putting the eyeballs on them earlier and just recently, too.
Well,
he looks like a leader out there. That's what I like.
He does. He's 6'2", 215 pounds, and a senior leader.
But watch him. He doesn't just stand there before the play. He's walking around. He maybe say something to the official, nice, and pat his own players on the back.
Yeah. Good leader. We'll be back with fourth quarter action, and it's all Lafayette. They lead Boyle 40-7 here as we head to the final quarter on the PrepSpin White Greer Maggard football game of the week.
All S, all P, all O, R, T, S.
In Fayette Mall on Facebook and Twitter, locally owned and operated since 1972.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life.
Gary Ball, Coach Mike Me, and William Warfield back here on PrepSpin, and it is Lafayette leading 40-7. Here goes the handoff right side for the Rebels. I believe that's Crawford again. No, they brought back in Ashburn.
Ashburn's in, yeah.
Yeah, Ashburn's back in there. He was the ball carrier, excuse me. So that brings up third down. We're in the fourth quarter now, and it's Lafayette 40. Well, they beat Dunbar, 50-14. Is that right, Coach? I believe it was 50-14.
Right, and Dunbar was in the game early.
So Lafayette is going to win this one going away. So your thoughts of this Lafayette team headed into Trinity next Friday night?
Strong, good defense. We mentioned that earlier. I think they're tough inside. The linebackers roam and tackle well.
Yep.
Walker Wood's a star.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's what they got to stop. Coach Shaw, if you're listening, this is getting out of hand. I mean, watch the ball. How hard is it to watch the ball?
That was Jed Wills, big All-American that jumped.
Well, he can, you know, he can be told, he could be corrected also, even though you're going to be a major college player.
Yeah.
You know, those things right now, ahead 40-7, they're not going to hurt you, but down the road, that's going to sneak up on you.
When is Jed going to announce his college choice? I know there's been a lot of discussion about that.
Don't know.
What's that?
We want exclusivity.
Yeah, we want exclusivity, Coach Shaw. You tell them PrepSpin's going to release it. 3rd down and 2. Hand off now to Ashburn, and he's got the first down. They call him Gunner, but he goes by Trenton Gunner Ashburn, 190-pound senior running back.
Well, you know what? Maybe that's his middle name.
Gunner, yeah, could be.
I've heard it before.
10 minutes and 42 seconds to play. Lafayette's going to win this one going away. They lead 40-7 against Boyle County. Earlier tonight, it was another blowout as Mercer County beat Bell 48-18 here. I know. Our games have been so close and tight here on PrepSpin, and now we've got these couple big blowouts here tonight.
Well, the first game was a running clock right there at the end.
Yeah, it was.
Too.
I thought for a minute we're going to running clock here, but it would take another touchdown by Lafayette. They're up 33.
Well, it might have been if that fumble hadn't occurred because they were moving the football.
Even a field.
How different would it be if the teams were flipped, say Boyle took on Bell and Mercer took on Lafayette?
I'm not sure Mercer. I'm not sure Mercer could hang with Lafayette from what I can see.
You have a timeout?
Yeah, they did look good tonight. I give them that. Timeout on the field. White Greer Maggard game of the week. 10-16 to play. Lexington Lafayette 40. Boyle County 7 will return.
By the numbers, Whitaker Bank loves the Kentucky communities we serve.
Whitaker Bank supports 496 Kentucky schools.
Over 282,000 students benefit from Whitaker Bank's Kentucky education initiatives.
Whitaker Bank has contributed almost $441,000 to education programs for the advancement of Kentucky's youth.
We share your passion, Kentucky.
Love the bank that loves you back.
Whitaker Bank is uniquely Kentucky.
We're back here. Gary Ball with Coach Mike Me and William Warfield. 10 minutes, 16 seconds to play. We kicked off at 10:30 because of the late start of the first game of the Rebel Bowl. Fake to Ashburn, looking down the middle, firing, and it is going to be it. Oh, dropped. Had it intercepted dropped it. Lafayette picked it off at the down near the goal line and then dropped it at the last moment, Coach.
You got to have hands playing that position. You got to catch the football. Oh, he's frustrated. You know what he's thinking right now? Man, my buddies are going to ride me about that. They're going to be all over me.
That was Jordan Thomas, the bandit. Usually sure-handed.
Yeah, that ball was right there in his hands.
It was right there.
Nice play for it, too.
Stops the clock, 10:10 to go here. Of course, the Scholastic Ball Report TV show will get back underway for its 14th season. Coach Me and next Sunday, Labor Day weekend at 12:30 on the CW Lexington.
Nice show. Really features. I love your features that you have.
Looking forward to that. Here's handoff to Ashburn, running left. Ashburn to the 20, down to the 18-yard line, short of the first down. Good sportsmanship there by Lafayette's Lane, helping him up. I agree with you, Coach. This Lane kid, he's got it all going on, doesn't he?
I like him. I like what I'm seeing from him. I like the leadership. I like his skill, the way he moves, the way he covers the line of scrimmage and scrapes well. He's got good feet, good drop on passes, by the way.
So next Friday night, 7:30 kickoff, folks. Packed Ishmael Stadium, because we'll be there on PrepSpin. You can watch it in HD, but pack the stadium over there. I'm sure it'll be a big house. Louisville Trinity comes to town, the Shamrocks and Bob Beatty. And there's going to be a great tackle. Big number 99, Coach. Was that Williams? Tyrone Williams?
Tyrone Williams.
Yeah, big Tyrone making the play.
He's a big guy,
He's
too. Another
big,
one of those big guys.
Big dude. I got him at 5'11", 250.
He's all of that.
9 minutes to play, and it's all Lafayette. Lexington Lafayette will go to 2-0, and Boyle will drop to 0-2.
You know, man, I'd hate to be like someone at like Golden Corral, all-you-can-eat buffet, and watch that defensive line come in there.
Pass left side to Quinn, and great catch by Quinn. Touchdown in the corner. Quinn hauled it in. Big Cameron, 6'2", sophomore, hauled it in the corner, and some life here for Boyle. Makes it 40-13.
That was an excellent throw, and that go route on the outside. Perfect, laid it perfectly where he could reach up and catch the football in the end zone.
Yep.
Nice job.
Yeah, that was a great pass, great catch by Quinn. And touchdown strike makes it 40-13. Lafayette 8:43. And they got the old swinging gate, much like Catholic does, Coach, Lexington Catholic.
I think a lot of teams do that now, just to you have an opportunity for a fake that way.
Comes the extra point here from Ruby. Kick is up, and it is good. So with 8:43 to play, it's Lexington Lafayette 40 and Boyle County 14. We'll return here on the White Greer Maggard High School football game of the week here tonight at the Rebel Bowl in Danville.
I'm not loving my smile. I should have got braces.
We're back here at Boyle County High School, and the Rebels just hooked up. Well, that was a nice catch by Quinn down there, and a good throw by Tiller.
Excellent. Tiller's not bad. Tiller's going to be a good football player. As the year goes on, those guys are going to get better.
Here's the kick, squib kick down the middle, and it'll be scooped up by Lafayette. That's number 14 with the ball, Newcomb, and Newcomb's going to be knocked down there almost the same place he picked the ball up. So Lafayette will have it there, and the Lafayette Generals up 40-14. And I'll tell you what, Coach, it has been an impressive night here by Walker Wood, the quarterback. He has rushed for 3 TDs and nearly 200 yards, and he has thrown, what, 2 touchdown passes, Coach?
2 touchdown passes.
Both to Edwards, I believe.
I'd say, yeah, to Quan Edwards. Yeah, he's done a super job tonight, and boy, I tell you, we'll see a lot of that the rest of the year too.
Oh yeah, outstanding.
Another quarterback.
No, I think that's still
that's him.
That's still Walker Wood in there, number 9.
That's it.
So Wood's still in the quarterback. Twins both sides. Guilfoyle goes in motion. High snap. Get back inside to Robinson, Javarius, and he takes it to the 28-yard line. Pickup of about 3. Clock running 8 minutes, 25 seconds. And it looked like the ball carrier might have lost his helmet. So I thought that was a rule, Coach. You and I talked about that in one game, didn't we? Where if they lose a helmet, they have to go out?
They do. He's out. He's heading out. Yeah, you have to go out for one play. It's a safety rule, and it's a good rule. You know, what if you stay in and your helmet was coming off because there's something wrong with it?
That's true.
And then you could get hurt the next play.
Quentin Brown in there in the backfield now with Walker Wood.
Change the play.
8 minutes to play in this game. Lafayette leads 40-14 over Boyle County. Wood back, looking down the middle, throws, and he had a receiver out there, Phillips, but he threw it behind him. as Phillips was streaking down the middle.
He did, and he changed the play, and he was looking for the quick look, I think. He also had a receiver on the outside, Guilfoyle. Looked like Guilfoyle was breaking open on the outside, too. I like what I'm seeing from him. He's taking some leadership in there. Looks like he's he's adjusting, making some reads on his own. Walker Wood is. I'm pretty impressed.
Watching Jed Wills, the big right tackle, and look at that big left tackle, Simpson. Inside handoff goes now to Brown, QB to the 40, and he's looking for a block. He's up to midfield, and Brown down to the 45 of Boyle and spun around down to the 42-yard line. Quentin Brown, and see, okay, looks like he might have got shaken up just a little bit.
A little twisted ankle or something, maybe.
Yeah, he's running off, but he looks like he's okay.
Guilfoyle got pushed. I think he got pushed from behind on the sideline here. He complained to the official, said, wait a minute, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, Brown having a little trouble now getting off the field. He's definitely injured something as he dives to the sideline.
Cramps.
Is he cramping maybe?
Looks like it, where he grabbed his back of his leg. Yeah. I'll tell you what, people don't realize it. You get a cramp in your hamstring out on that field.
Yeah, he's cramping.
That looks like 100 yards to the sideline.
Wood, pump fakes. He's got a receiver downfield and diving for it down at the 22. That's my man Guilfoyle.
Nice job.
What a great diving catch by number 17, Matthew Guilfoyle.
Nice job, super job. One thing that quarterbacks learn to do when you're an experienced quarterback like Wood is and other ones, you never put your receiver in trouble. If you see that he's going to get hit, if he's running a route and you can get him the ball, but you can get it, you throw it to him low where he has to go down on the ground to get it. Therefore, it keeps him from getting that big lick.
Right.
It's very good, very, very good coaching.
Twin receivers both sides for Walker Wood and Lafayette. Pump fakes, fires over now on the far side to Newcomb, and Newcomb's going to dive down to about the 17, 15-yard line. It's going to be a nice pickup.
I like the Newcomb guy, too.
I like a lot of these receivers for Lafayette. How can you not like Edwards with the way he's caught the ball? Quentin Brown. Zach Sherman's been kind of quiet tonight, but he's an outstanding receiver. And, Coach, also Matthew Guilfoyle is outstanding.
Yeah, he's going to be really special for this team the rest of this year.
Not to mention Noah Phillips. Second down and 3. Backside end off goes to the 10, and that's number 35. He takes it all the way down. We'll tell you who that is here in just a moment. That's Lawson, Jalen Lawson, the running back. So Lawson, the ball carrier. First time he's carried it tonight.
It reminds me of a skier, snow skier, behind an avalanche. It just looks like that offensive line is just driving and driving and driving. Now they get down around the 5-yard line. If they're going to run the football, your offensive line is really important. One thing that we taught our offensive lines was if your offensive line can get their hips across the goal line, your running backs are going to score.
Walker Wood at the 7, and he gives it around the right side and to the 3. Is he going to get in? Bowling his way down to the 1-yard line, very close. And I believe, Coach, that was Lawson again, wasn't it?
I believe so. Actually, I believe that might be the coach's son, one of the coaches.
Well, 35, Lawson's in there now. That is Lawson. The 35 is Lawson.
Right. I believe his dad is one of the coaches, one of a really fine gentleman that I've known for years.
Lawson getting down low, hit hard, not going to get in at the 2. Clock still running, 5 minutes and 26 seconds to go in this one. Lafayette's going to win it going away. They lead 40-14 here. A lot of attention to Lafayette this year with Jed Wills, the big tackle, All-American tackle coach. Where will he go? He's narrowed it down to Alabama, and I think Kentucky's on that list, and it's just a matter of time before the big fella makes his announcement.
I think he should go to Slippery Rock. I think he should fool everybody and go to Slippery Rock College.
How about Ball State? What'd be wrong with that? Here's Walker Wood, and he leaps in for his 4th touchdown rushing tonight for Walker Wood.
He's had quite a night.
4 TDs rushing, 2 passes. He's accounted for 6 touchdowns, and 4 of them have been on the ground.
Coach, he's had a nice night and a nice day since it's Sunday already.
Yeah, since it's Sunday morning.
Almost 1 o'clock.
Yep.
Those people still listening?
I'll tell you what, those are loyal fans.
They are. Lafayette fans are loyal. There's a lot of Lafayette fans over there that stayed.
Well, I'll tell you what, I would say their stadium will be packed next Friday night for the Trinity game.
Yeah, if you're going to watch that game, you better get there early.
4:57. Averett's kick is up, and it is good.
The extra point is good.
So 47-14 with 4:57 to play here in the game. We'll be back on the White Greer Maggard High School football game of the week.
This is when I was a kid. I want my teeth to be straight.
Dude, go to White Greer and Maggard. So, I see you took my advice. Better?
Oh, better.
You're not you when your teeth aren't straight. Get started at White, Greer, and Maggard today.
All S, all P, all O, R, T, S. Pick it up at all sports. Pick it up at all sports.
In Fayette Mall and allsportslex.com, locally owned and operated since 1972.
It may not require a textbook, but it's filled with valuable lessons.
We need to give credit after this kick by Lafayette with Crawford back deep. And he is going to kick it to the far side. Gervasio's got it, 20. Gervasio 25-30, up to the 33. Hit hard there. We got to give credit to this entire line of Lafayette, Coach. Will Bischoff, the center, senior. Dejon Thomas, the left guard. Austin Miller. Of course, Alex Simpson, left tackle, and Jedrick Wills. That offensive line has been just spectacular tonight. Gary McPeak, I believe, runs that offensive line. I think he calls it the croc, calls him the croc or something. The croc, something to do with crocodiles.
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's late. It's 1 o'clock in the morning.
That was quite a tackle there. Really, one of the hardest hits of the night. We got to mention that.
Lost his helmet.
By Austin Blake. He knocked his own helmet off with that hit.
See what Boyle does here at the 33-yard line. 1st and 10 with just 4:51 to play. Tiller slides, gives now, second man through, and that's Crawford. Crawford coming near side, 35. Crawford hit and run out of bounds at the 40-yard line, and coming over there to run him out of bounds for the Generals defense. That was 27, Coach.
Brian Jackson.
Yeah,
nice job by Jackson too. I watched him. He kept that leverage on the running back there, and used the sideline as that 12th defender. He forced him to the sideline, but never gave him the outside. Never gave him the opportunity to get around him. Nice job. Boyle might have to go back to those deep passes and try to get another one if they can, with 4 minutes and 41 seconds to go.
If you're wondering why we still have a high school football game at 1 o'clock in the morning, it's because we didn't kick off till 10:30. That's one of the latest kicks I've ever been involved with, 10:30.
Yeah, it was. There was lightning in the first game and before the first game.
Yeah, so they didn't kick off to 8, the Mercer County game. There's Crawford again, run out of bounds again. But Jack, here comes some flags, a little bit activity on the sideline there.
Yeah, that little extracurricular, that was kind of chintzy, honestly. But it was definitely something that you're not supposed to do. It was on 27 again. And what he did was he ran him out of bounds like he did the last play. Nice job.
Yep.
And then when he got out of bounds, he kind of grabbed him and threw him, a good 3 or 4 yards out of bounds. And, come on. You don't need to do that.
That's going to take him to the biggest I think the biggest thing a coach has as a weapon is the sideline.
Yeah, really. And
he's over on the sidelines now. He's not in the game.
Right. Yeah. He's in the game, and he's out of the game. He just made a big play before that. Yeah. It's one of those things. Young guys will do that. They're in a crowd of black jerseys over there. You got the white jersey on. It gets a little intimidating to you.
Tiller's under center. Gives now to Crawford. Crawford to the 42-yard line. Pickup of about 3.
Some nice tackle in there. 57 Walker did, but Jalen Cooper was in on that too.
Yeah, Coach, you're doing a great job spotting these 1 o'clock in the morning tackles.
Yeah. I'm trying to help you.
I know.
I'm trying to help
down. A lot of folks know they watch these games. They watch us on PrepSpin. We do not use a spotter. I mean, I think the PA guy here at Boyle County is a nice guy. I like him. He's got 5 spotters down there.
Yeah, that would be nice. We don't have enough room up here for 5 spotters.
We don't. That's true. We could maybe use a half of one. Yeah, 3:43 to go here in the game, and hand off Crawford, trying to bounce it outside.
Move.
Crawford 35-30, Crawford 20. Crawford down the far side and being chased and finally run out of bounds inside the 5-yard line.
Could you get that number? That was a good effort, really good effort.
But you mean the Lafayette defender?
Yes, really good effort.
I want to say it might have been Price. They'll tell us because he's got the 5 spotters to tell us.
Super effort, ran it down. J.D. Smith.
Thought he said 28.
Yeah, that's Smith.
Good effort. 3:26 here. They say he actually was run out at the 5.
Yeah.
Tanner Crawford, the ball carrier, sophomore, number 44. He's still in there behind Tiller. They're at the 5 now. 1st and goal at the 5. 3 minutes to go. Give now to Crawford, right side, and he's going to get in for the touchdown. Crawford makes it 47-20.
Had a little blitz, trying to blitz in there and stop him before he got started. The blitz missed him by about a yard.
Yep.
Just, overran it, and there he goes.
Basically, you're playing the Lafayette JV team right now.
Right, but, we don't want them to make mistakes either.
The JV team?
Yeah.
True.
Coach Lawson, by the way, we watched Lawson run the ball down there earlier. His dad is one of the assistant coaches on his team, the freshman coach, strength coach. Good man, I tell you that right now.
.304 to play, and I'd like to see Lafayette just run the clock out here. I mean, goodness gracious.
I know who I wouldn't have in there.
Wood.
Right.
Kick is up, and it is good there for Boyle County's kicker, Nick Ruby. And with 3:04 to play, it is Lafayette 47 and Boyle 21. We'll be back on the White Greer Maggard High School football game of the week here at the Rebel Bowl in Danville.
White Greer and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
By the numbers, Whitaker Bank loves the Kentucky communities we serve.
There are 50 Whitaker Bank locations serving Kentucky communities just like mine.
61 Whitaker Bank ATMs throughout Kentucky make getting quick access to cash easy.
Whitaker Bank staff serves the needs of nearly 70,000 Kentucky customers every day.
We share your passion, Kentucky. Love the bank that loves you back. Whitaker Bank is uniquely Kentucky.
Oh my goodness.
It's getting late, boy.
It is. It's late. It's very late. We're back here, 3:04. We're getting a good laugh up here in the press box at 1 o'clock in the morning. Gary Ball, Mike Meehan, William Warfield, and Boyle just scored, but here's a low kick to Lafayette, taking at the 20. Returned up, and nice job of Newcomb up to the 31-yard line. And let's see what Lafayette does here, Coach.
Well, they have 2 minutes and 58 seconds, just under 3 minutes to go. And, it's a good night for Lafayette. They've done things right. They're okay. And they just need to maybe get a group in here that needs some time, playing time, needs the coaches to look at them on film a little bit, work hard.
We've got Braden Caudle, Jeff Black, Drew Hall, Matt Markham, and looks like Jay Reese in there as well. Got the second team in there.
Except the quarterback, right?
That's going to be, is that Quentin Brown, number 8 at quarterback? I think it is.
Is it?
Yeah, QB at quarterback. He's the backup.
Nice looking kid.
Lefty, southpaw. Give to the running back, and that's going to be Deshaun Taylor. And Taylor's going to lose about a yard. Who was it?
29.
On the tackle for the Rebels was Kagan Jackson. Kagan Jackson on the stop.
Nice tackle. Again, there wasn't anything in there, so nowhere to go.
QB, Quentin Brown. Brown gives around the right side now to Jackson. Big time hit put on there on Taylor, Deshaun Taylor. About a 3-yard pickup. Clock running, approaching 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go in this one. Lafayette will come out with a victory. They lead 47-21 over Boyle. Lafayette will play Trinity next Friday. You can watch it right here. William, we are really looking forward to that game next Friday over at Lafayette Trinity, aren't we? So two of the powerhouse. That'll be a slobber knocker, as they say. I agree. I think, to me, it's the top 2 teams in the state, and we've seen a lot. I've seen 14 teams play this year already when you go back to last weekend when I saw, 6 teams play that weekend?
Right, plus the scrimmage, you know.
Yeah, plus I saw Mayo. Those, to me, Lafayette and Trinity are the best teams in the Commonwealth. And they'll decide it next week, but that's just a regular season. Newcomb up to the 39-yard line, down to minute 27. That'll bring up 4th down at about 30. Yeah, Newcomb runs 6'2" sophomore.
He's running hard. He is. He wants to be part of this championship Lafayette team.
Lafayette has a lot of talent, don't they?
They do have a lot of talent, and they're playing real discipline too. They're called the Croc Boys, by the way.
Croc Boys. Yeah, I knew it was something to do with crocodiles. Yeah. Simpson, Thomas, the starter, but Caudell Black, Hall, Markham, Reese, the backups, along with the tight end Kalen Williams. I think he's in there as well.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of subs in here now.
Well, they're just running some clock. It's down to 54 seconds. They're wishing they didn't even have to run another play. They look like they will have to at least do the.
They're going to get a penalty.
Yeah, they'll get a penalty and maybe just take a knee, right?
It's been a marathon today, or this weekend.
Surely that's.
Down to 39 seconds here. High snap goes over Brown. He picks it up. Brown's going to go down and just take a knee at the 31 and. Boyle will come out. I'm not sure. They'll probably run a play or two, but there's 32 seconds to go. And Lafayette, 40. They scored 50 last week against Dunbar. They scored 47. So Lafayette, coach, a team that's averaging about 48 points a game after 2 games. That's not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. They're a good scoring team.
They take on a Trinity team that struggled their first game offensively, but apparently found their groove a little bit last night, right?
Yep, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, they're 2-0 right now. So it'll be 2 undefeated teams, and I agree with Coach Meehan in our humble opinion. IMO, as they call it, in my opinion, the 2 best teams in the state will play next Friday at Ishmael Stadium. We'll have it right here on PrepSpin. Thanks to Coach Shaw and all the staff out of Lafayette, all the great way they treat us out there. Give now, and Crawford's going to be wrapped up and pulled backwards by Lafayette's defense.
Big number 52 is in there.
Yeah, let's give him credit. Big number 52, that's Tyler Moore. Yeah, so big Tyler Moore. Down to 12 seconds, and Boyle won't even have to run another play.
No,
their team is already headed to midfield to congratulate Lafayette on a big beatdown here. 47-21. Lafayette beats Boyle County here in the Rebel Bowl, and Lafayette goes to 2-0, and Boyle drops to 0-2. But they're a very young team, coach. As you referenced, a lot of good young sophomores on this Boyle team.
Yeah, I would really watch them in the future with a good coach, good coaching staff. They're going to be dangerous.
We'll step out on White Greer Maggard. We'll come back, wrap it up here. 48-18. Mercer County wins earlier over Bell, and here it's 47-21. Lafayette with the victory.
All S, all P, all O, R, T, S. Pick it up at all sports. Pick it up at all sports.
In Fayette Mall on Facebook and Twitter, locally owned and operated since 1972.
It's easy to spot people who participated in high school sports and activities.
Right on time.
They learned important lessons like leadership, teamwork, respect.
Hey, our meeting moved to 10.
We'll be ready.
Values that last a lifetime.
We need to focus on 3 factors.
Support high school sports and activities in your community. When kids take part, they get set for life.
By the numbers, Whitaker Bank loves the Kentucky communities we serve.
Whitaker Bank supports 496 Kentucky schools.
Over 282,000 students benefit from Whitaker Bank's Kentucky education initiatives.
Whitaker Bank has contributed almost $441,000 to education programs for the advancement of Kentucky's youth.
We share your passion, Kentucky.
Love the bank that loves you back.
Whitaker Bank is uniquely Kentucky.
Back here to wrap things up here at the Rebel Bowl, Gary Ball, Mike Meehan, and William Warfield, and it was all Lafayette. You know, Boyle took that early lead, 7-6, coach, and then, man, it was all Lafayette. Walker Wood was just sensational. He rushed for 4 TDs tonight and threw 2. He was the star of the game, but he was really sensational.
Right. If we were going to pick a star of the game for them, it would be Walker Wood. He just did a super job. Boyle County had a couple big plays. They beat some coverage a couple times and threw the ball deep with actually, Gary, nice throws and nice catches for a couple touchdowns, but that was all they could deal tonight.
So they will give out the star of the game. Looks like Walker Wood's going to win Walker Wood's going to win the star of the game award, MVP. So congrats to him.
And Bruce Robbins in the cool glass top of the showroom will present the 2015 Rebel Bowl Victory Trophy to the Generals of Lafayette High School.
Yeah. So Lafayette wins it 47-21 over a good Boyle County team who's going to be solid by the midseason. We will have football next Friday night on PrepSpin at 7:30. It will be Louisville Trinity coming to town to take on these Lexington Lafayette Generals. Looking forward to that one over at Ishmael Stadium. And again, William Warfield and Coach Mike Meehan. This is Gary Ball. Your final scores: Mercer County 48, Dale County 18, and Lexington Lafayette 47, Boyle County 21. Until next Friday night on PrepSpin, this is Gary Ball. So long from the Rebel Bowl in Boone at Boyle County.